trainers, and welcome back to the Pokemon UNITE Asia Champions League. And of course, we're here in week 2, day 2 of all the action, and we're gonna see some best teams of Southeast Asia contend to be the best in the world. So, of course, my name's Contra, this is Dan Lee, and we are definitely in for a lot of exciting matches.
I mean, you're totally in the zone. I'm very excited to see what the teams have lined up and what they have in store for us. And I do believe we're finally going to be seeing Team Rise play today. This is the only team in Southeast Asia that hasn't played today. But before we talk about that, we do want to remind everyone watching the stream, if you haven't already, do save this link here. This is the tournament guidebook, the Bible, whatever you want to call it. It has all the information on the ACL League. It's got dates, it's got teams, it's got times, it's got information. So if you have any questions in regards to the tournament, you can check out this link. It's got everything you need to know, absolutely all of it.
That's right. Of course, other than all of these information that you're looking out for, we'll also explain you all the rules necessary if you guys are brand new into the second week of the Pokemon UNITE Asia Champions League. And also, we'll also like to remind you guys that you can walk away with a lot of rewards by simply watching this live stream on Twitch.
Yes, so if you didn't know, we currently have a giveaway campaign happening right now on Twitch, where if you sign up with your Twitch account on Stream Elements, you'll be eligible to start earning stream points. Now, what you can do with these points is that you can redeem them for physical gift rewards. So the rewards are inclusive of keychains, you get clear folders, and then of course I think the big ones for some people, it's the booster card packs, and it also includes some booster card tins. So if any of this stuff piques your interest, then make sure you sign up on Stream Elements, start collecting those points, and make sure you redeem your prizes as soon as possible, because unfortunately we only have a limited quantity of all of these prizes. So start watching today, sign up today, and I promise you, you will not be disappointed with the rewards up for grabs.
Yeah, and of course, we're also going to be taking a look at who's going to be playing for the entirety of the Pokemon UNITE Asia Champions League. Let's also start off with the East Asia region, where we have 5 teams consisting of Eternity, High Five, No Show, Secret Ship, as well as T2. In Southeast Asia, which we'll be playing for today, we have Escape 5, MYS, Renaissance, Rise, as well as Secret Rare. And of course, not forgetting, in India, we have God's Reign, Marcos Gaming, Revenant Esports, Soul, as well as True Rippers.
So if you're interested in following any of these particular leagues, make sure you watch them on their broadcast dates. East Asia happens every Friday, Southeast Asia happening every Saturday, and India happening every Sunday. And it's going to be streamed on the exact same streaming platforms every single time. So Twitch, YouTube, and we're even live on Facebook.
That's right, and you could feel free to watch everywhere, but if you're in for those prizes, yep, we've already covered what you need to do.
Yeah, make Twitch best platform.
Well, of course, we are going to continue on with what we're here for, which is the tournament. So before we even get to that, let's look at the schedule. Of course, the first week have passed, and now into week 2, day 2. This will be the matches for today. We'll start off with Escape 5 versus Secret Rare, and then later on, Rise versus Team MYS. That will be their very first game of the tournament.
Yeah, and Escape 5 and Secret Rare, they've already played once. Unfortunately, both of these teams, they did drop their first games, but let's be honest, MYS and Renaissance, incredibly strong teams. I am looking forward to this series here from Escape 5 and Secret Rare. Both teams showing a lot of promise, but also, I'm keen to see how Rise fare up against the competition, right? Because they haven't played yet, they haven't shown their cards, and they kind of have some information now on these other teams, right? They've watched the VODs, they know the Pokemon that have been chosen, they get a feel of how these teams generally play, and so I kind of want to say they do have a bit of a tactical advantage as long as they've done their homework.
That's true, and if we take a look at the schedule for Rise, sure, they may have missed out a day or so, but they will be appearing every single week from here on, because you look at the schedule, they have to fight everybody else, right? And of course, not forgetting tomorrow, if you guys are hoping to catch some action of Pokemon Unite for the India region, that's where we'll see Marcus Gaming, True Rebirth first, as well as Scott Swain versus Team Soul. So, of course, this are for the first stage. We'll definitely move into the second stage as well as finals. And let's also talk about the format of the tournament.
Yes, so just a quick refresher for everyone tuning into the broadcast. How it works is that all 15 of our invited teams were split into their regional leagues. Now, these teams are going to play against each other up until we get the top 2 teams. Now, how you get top 2 is firstly, you need to make sure you earn the most points during the round robin stage, and then you need to make sure that you win your matches when you get to the next stage. So if I know for a fact that the first team to come out of the first phase automatically qualifies to go to the Malaysia LAN. The second seed has to play up against the winner of the other 2 seeds. So there's a lot of battling that needs to be done. But once we've got the top 2 from every single regional league, these teams will then battle out offline at Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia in the official LAN. And I'm really excited for this. It's going to be happening mid-March. So if you're wondering when you should be marking your calendar, mid-March. You can also check the microsite for the exact dates.
That's right. So with those exact dates, you could possibly plan out a journey to Kuala Lumpur with your friends, your family members.
You can fly out and watch everything.
Yeah, and we've definitely seen Battle Arena before. It is quite the place for great esports events, but of course, players are playing not only for the pride of their respective regions, but also they get to walk away with a lot of cash prize involved. Even on the second stage, we're already offering up to $5,000 for the first place team, and also second place walks away with 2.5K, and on third, they walk away with 1,000, meaning to say, fourth as well as fifth, they unfortunately will not be able to earn those prize pool. But when they get to the finals, this is where
the big money's at.
The big bucks at. Exactly.
Yeah, so 30,000. This is also US dollars, ladies and gentlemen. This is not the local Asian currencies. It's not ringgit. It's not pesos. It's US dollars. So this is a hefty sum for all these teams to be competing for. So best of luck to everyone that's competing in their regional leagues. We are looking forward to seeing who our top 6 teams are going to be from all of these regional leagues. We're looking forward to meeting you all as well in Kuala Lumpur. This is going to be super exciting. Now, we do want to remind all of our viewers the match rules for the tournament. So how the tournament works currently is that it is more or less the standard format we have been following since last year's competitive season.
That's right.
10-minute matches, right? Exactly the same. We're going to be following a best-of-3 format for the first phase, 5v5 custom battle. We're going to be doing it on Thea Sky Ruins as well with the draft mode. This is the one thing that separated this tournament from last season. Draft mode, unfortunately, wasn't quite ready. It came out. We're now running with draft mode, which means both teams will get a single band to use. There's no limit on items. There is no level limit, and we have no restrictions on Pokemon. So every Pokemon that's available in draft mode is pickable, which is basically everybody, right? We saw Dragapult last week, and that was the first time we've seen this Pokemon in competitive play, and it was also the newest Pokemon to join the roster.
Yeah, and I wonder what will be next, because there's ample of Pokemon that have yet to be revealed by some of all these teams, and I think like the major difference is also the support medals that has also been introduced into the game. So draft mode is something that we really have to talk about, because this is the first time that it is being used in
an official competitive tournament.
Official tournament, that's right. And of course, for those who are new to the draft mode, welcome on board. We start off with the ban phase, one ban for each respective team. They can even opt to ban the same Pokemon. So moving on, the first team gets to select their first Pokemon, and that is going to be the edge of the priority of getting the first pick. Second team will go ahead and select 2 Pokemons, another 2 back into the first team, and it will cycle all the way to the 6th pick. And once they're done, they will have to go to the preparation phase if they have basically secured the Pokemon, and maybe your teammates don't really want to play Mr. Mon. He doesn't feel too confident. You can swap it up with him. So that's how it works out.
Yeah. So the advantage you can say for some teams, maybe you prefer to have that first pick, and then sometimes you do prefer to have that final pick, right? So it really comes down to the teams, and I do believe that we do have a system in place where teams are informed whether or not they get the first pick or they get the last pick. But very, very excited to see what's going to be happening in today's matchups, Contra, because we had a very exciting week last week. We had some insane games in Southeast Asia, and I still have some very fond memories of them. We had some close games. We saw Dragapult. Now, speaking of the highlights, let's take a quick look at what happened in last week's matches.
还在找机会看家里他们，我再让我刷一集，拜托再让我刷一集吧。这边 poke 还不错哦。我有一个后门的，推到墙壁，顶得住吗？哇，顶得住，把路力倒了，完蛋，情况不太对劲，而且路力冲过头了。九尾这个位置也没有到特别好，还没说踩2个，好像要逆转了。关键的一波发出，杜多利也迷路了，完了，
杜多利这种
哇，完蛋了，出大事了。
하는데 네. 그런 부분을 시크릿도 알고 있고요. 자, 싸우나요?
오히려 먼저 들어간
것 같은데요. 헤론이 일단 HP가 적습니다.
근데 뒤쪽에서 두트리어가
잠만 보고 또 틀어 누웠어요. 또.
진짜 즐기다 즐겨. 그러면 이거 레크자 막 타봐야겠죠. 이게 전투에서는 어쨌든 쉽지 않은 상황이고 이게 2명이 없는 상황에서 지속들이 부족하거든요.
그래도 끝까지 희망을 놓지 않습니다.
짓밟기 쓰면서 지금 어떻게든 버텨주고 있는 하나카이긴 한데 나인테일도 좀 무리해서 왔습니다.
괜찮아요.
아니 하나카가 이거 슈퍼 캐리하나요 지금?
That's before the storm comes in, and here we go.
Shifu jumping into the fight. Miva trying to set up for the team, but so far they don't get an elimination. They do some big damage, and so far Eldegoss is down on the side of MYS. They do have, they've lost a lot of their sustain, and now it's going to be up to Dan. The block shenanigans, the high horsepower. But it looks like they're taking Pokemon down. They've actually lost it. Alola Ninetales, it's really down to the Delphox to do most of the damage here. Blissey and Delphox. Can they maybe get the steal? Because we know Delphox, it's got one of the highest damage skills in the game. And no, they will not get the steal off, unfortunately. And now it's Urshan. But even then, it's not enough. Because look at this. Winnie's going to score 100! Winnie! He may have just secured this game. But look at the top lane. We're starting to see those points in. The knockouts are happening. 10 seconds to go. Can Renaissance score these points? 16 from the Mammoth side. Is there any more? I don't think they can get it. 22 from the Cramoran in base. This is too close. But I actually think
we gotta take a look. Who's gonna get it?
Renaissance
Oh my word!
They have done it. I thought the Cramoran.
But then again, these are the last few 30 seconds, and if something can happen, it's going to be here. Otherwise, True Rippers, well, they might just not see a good scoreline for themselves. Sap is quite close to Rakaza, but we'll have to see what can happen for himself as this. Oh my god, oh my god.
Rakaza is super low.
It's the only question, 50% HP on Rayquaza as Esituel has the entire space. What will Revenant do? That's the only question. They are trying, but
Revenant
will they be able to take it? Oh my god, Revenant!
To basically hold the fort while this Blissey is soaking all the damage, but this Tyranitar won't be able to survive. Look at how fast Cameron basically goes into shred their HP bar, and he's still doing it. That is a triple streak of knockout, and Renaissance will pave the way.
So many good memories, Contra.
Yeah, and of course, the best one being the game with the Dragapult. Of course, Renaissance.
Oh my goodness.
Squeeze in the very final.
Hey, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
Stuff.
Okay, I'm just gonna tell people, if you haven't watched the final game, watch it.
Just do it.
Just watch. It was so good. You didn't hear anything that Contra said.
Yep,
you didn't hear anything.
Forget it.
Nah, the Dragapult did terribly. Watch the game. You will not regret. It was an amazing series.
There's VODs out there below, so make sure you check it out. Thank you, Danny. You saved some of these guys out there. So
I saved lives.
okay, you know what? Let's see what's currently present for us here to check out. So let's take a look at the table of the current positions of all the teams that are involved.
Yeah, so currently for standings, we have Renaissance sitting in first place alongside Team MYS. Now, the reason why they have 3 points each and Renaissance is first is likely because Renaissance managed to scrape by with a 2-0 in their first series of the tournament, whereas Team MYS, they completed the series 2-1. So that is the reason why these teams are currently split and they're not tied 1-1. Now, of course, sitting in third and I know it's fifth, but this could be fourth. It depends on how you want to interpret it. Secret Rare getting 1 point as they unfortunately were 2-1'd by Team MYS. And then we had Escape 5, who unfortunately were so close to getting a 3-game series, but were taken out 2-0. So they're technically fourth because Rise hasn't played yet.
Yeah, and we're about to see some of these team performance. Rise will be getting their very first game of the tournament on the later stage of what we're having for today. Escape 5, though, I mean, they've been an exciting team. They come up with compositions that are not on the regular spectrum, I would say. And that itself gives us a little bit more of a refreshing take of how certain teams are looking at the game, thinking, okay, we're going to go for sure firepower. We're going to go for ample damage. And I think like they've got all these great ideas, and I want to see how they fare against their opponents for today.
Yeah, I'm really keen to see how they finally put themselves on this board, right? Because we don't know anything, nothing at all. Now, let's take a look at the second stage. Now, how this works is that right now, the teams are currently playing round robin. They're not playing this yet, but they are playing to get here. Now, depending on how many points you get at the end of the first stage, you are going to be put into the Southeast Asia playoff bracket. Now, how the seeds work is that if you have the most points, you're the first seed, and then if you have the least amount of points, then you'll be fifth seed. So I think it's pretty self-explanatory. You'll be organized into the brackets like this. First seed is automatically qualified to the finals in Malaysia, but you will need to compete for the final seed with the winner of the series underneath you, which is going to be between the second seed team and then the winner of either third, fourth, or fifth seed. So it's going to be pretty scary for teams on day 6 because only one team is going to make it through to day 7.
Exactly, and being first seed, you just basically get that auto qualification technically because that will book yourself the slot into the finals, and that also guarantees you more money on the line. But being on fourth as well as fifth will be a little bit more daunting because they will have to run through this gauntlet from all the way down at the bottom to the top. So if we look at the standings right now, some of the teams are in really good shape, and there's still weeks to go, of course. Nothing is solidified as of yet. So if you guys are ready, we are about to begin our first matchup of the day. It will be Secret Rare versus Escape 5.
And on the side of Secret Rare, we have Shua, Miva, Dan, Hart, and Junior Absent. I hope this is his name. I still hope it is, but it's okay. He can scold me if he really wants to.
And of course, we'll see if he's going to be all too offended or not, but hopefully not. So, and on Escape 5, we got Mudiok, Mukrop, Winnie, Peas, Jazz, as well as Blacklight. And last week, I think they've been able to wow us with their playstyle going up against heavy favorites like Renaissance and almost actually taking a game off. Secret Rare, they did manage to get some points in, so I definitely want to see what Mudok has to offer when they're going against them.
Yeah, speaking of Mudok, we're going to be taking a look at his player stats. This is from the on the team of Escape 5, where we get to learn a little bit more about the players themselves, and I do love this segment. So let's see, we've got Mudok on the screen. He loves playing Tyranitar and Cinderace, and he loves watching Korean series, and his power usually comes from his friends.
Wow.
Oh, the power of friendship!
Power of friendship. He's such a sweet lad. I mean, Mudiok, gotta tell us what you binging on, like which Korean series. I mean, I honestly haven't really checked out too many of it other than, you know, the popular Squid Games.
I haven't watched any, so you're asking the wrong person.
Okay. Somebody give me Moodog's number. We gotta chat and see. And of course, we'll also want to take a look at another player's profile.
Yes, let's take a look at Dan on the other side here. This is from the team Secret Rare, and he loves Darkrai and Mewtwo, so we're not looking at Pokemon that are available in Pokemon Unite, and his good luck meal is Jolly McDog.
Oh, well, interesting.
Wait, is this from Jollibee? It
probably.
must be.
Probably. We don't have this on the menu here locally in Malaysia, but
I need to Google this. Hang on. The Jolly McDog.
Well, other than that, his choice of Pokemon, Dan is all about power, but he also does love himself that power nap. He's on Snorlax duty for most part, and I think he's phenomenal. So we'll definitely have to see if there is gonna be a shift of what Secret Rare is going to offer this time around.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if they somehow got their hands on Dan Snorlax again. I feel like that's a given, right? Like, this man knows how to play the Snorlax. He's great at controlling the opposing team, so it makes it very difficult for them to try and dive into his back lines. But I'm also curious to know, does Dan play any other defenders? Because if you play Snorlax this good, I'm really interested to see if there are any other defenders that he can also use just as masterfully.
Probably there is a few, just that he's going to make us wait for it. I mean, if he's doing so well on that Snorlax...
Why change?
Don't change until somebody steals it away, right? I mean, there's also other options available that shouldn't be too much of a hassle that he could basically move towards to. And you know what? Let's move on to our first draft of the day.
Let's go. It's Secret Rare going up against Escape 5. Now, both of these teams are looking to pick up points. Now, of course, we are looking at a bit of a, I want to say a separation, right? Because Secret Rare, they're currently sitting on a single point. Escape 5, they have nothing. So they want to try and get some points on the board. Ideally, they win this. They can bring themselves back onto the board. But if Secret Rare take this is going to put Escape 5 very far behind on that leaderboard. So let's take a look at the picks and bans here. Contra, Sableye and Mr. Mime on the field. And, of course, first pick for Secret Rare. Urshifu.
Really smart choice of bans. And we see that Mr. Mime have always been the comfort pick for many teams so far, and it has been so disruptive. So removing that from play and now also securing themselves in Snorlax is going to work pretty well. Meanwhile, on the side of Escape 5, we've seen tremendous effort of how Moodog basically has played the Dodrio, or was it Moocrob?
It was Moocrob.
Moocrob, my
Absolutely Moocrob. It's fine, don't worry about it.
And he's so good on it, he's just gonna go ahead and train it once again.
Yeah, he was absolutely scary once he finally got his momentum. So I think if you're Secret Rare, you have to be aware of the Dodrio. But of course, I don't think it's set in stone. It might not be Moocrob playing the Dodrio, right? Because there's always going to be an opportunity for teams to swap Pokemon around. You think you know who's going to take that central area, and then all of a sudden it's the central area Delphox. So then what happens then? You know, you got to compensate.
Yeah, and speaking of which, I mean, we're also getting a Greninja along with an Aegislash. So Secret Rare is going to pivot into a different form as compared to what we last saw them playing a little bit more of a very defensive setup. And it looks like they're looking to haunt them with the Tyranitar.
We've been seeing a lot of Tyranitar, and I'm sort of surprised about this. I didn't think we would be seeing this much Tyranitar, but we're getting a lot of love so far, and this Pokemon is going to make the most of that spotlight. Now, we are in the final preparation phase where players are allowed to swap Pokemon with their teammates if they feel like they want to do something crazy. And yeah, Moocrob is going to be handling the Dodrio, so very likely in that central area. And was it Miva on Secret Rare that's a central area player? I think it is.
It should be the case.
Well, it could be Schwa though, because Greninja also can go in the central area.
Pretty interesting, as we have seen Miva mostly playing on the top lane overall for the past couple of matches. So it may or may not be the case. So they do have a little bit more flexibility heading into this matchup. But, you know, we're ready to move over to our stadium. It's going to be the Thea Sky Ruins.
It's always the Thea Sky Ruins.
Yeah.
It can't be anywhere else.
That's right. And
Welcome home, buddy.
yep, we're back. Well,
We're back yet again.
give us a few seconds and we'll jump right in.
It's okay. We're just admiring the splendor of all of the Holloway.
Yeah, especially that Delphox.
Yeah, that's the beautiful Battle Pass Holloway. All right, we are jumping into the game here. It's game 1 between Secret Rare and Escape 5. And yeah, Mukrob is going to be heading into that central area, and we are going to see Greninja going into the central area here for Secret Rare. So it's going to be Shua. So Miva is going to be heading into the top lane here with Dan. And Shua focusing more on this Baltoy, and they're actually going to share experience here. So they're going to be giving one of the wild Pokemon to Miva. I kind of like this play from Secret Rare where they're sort of sharing this experience because they know how influential Miva can be, especially if you have someone like him playing Urshifu.
Yeah, and we've seen so much out of the Talonflame from the previous week, and oh boy, Dan's already looking to pick something up. Well, of course, a little bit more coming in for the Larvitar. It's just gonna be a little bit more of a hard work coming in for the player, while Jazz constantly goes for a potential pick and will be able to get the swing up the first KO.
Yep, onto that poor little Chansey. Wasn't able to fully evolve before that battle happened. So it's going to have to waltz right back into that lane and try and find some experience to hit that Blissey evolution. But we've got Mukrob heading into that top lane. Now, Secret Rare's lineup, they are very, very weak in the early game. So if Mukrob can get a couple of eliminations here, this will slow down the progress of Secret Rare. They do need to be careful here. Moodok dropping pretty low. Same with Winnie's, but luckily they are able to back up. And actually, Delphox getting a knockout on the poor little Aegislash on the side of Secret Rare. It's not able to evolve either. So we're starting to see a little bit of weakness here from Secret Rare. Their team requires a little bit of experience to really come online, right? Greninja is not a great Pokemon when it comes to looking for early KOs. And then, of course, you have Aegislash who he doesn't do much until he's fully evolved.
Yeah, it's definitely going to take a while for Secret Rare to actually hit those power spikes, and therefore they're not really in the rush. I mean, they get what they can take for the moment. So if they could get more EXP working out for the Aegislash, then great. Jazz still with the constant pressure, and
Black Light. Oh, sending him back to base. I'm very sure you would have seen sparkles in your eyes after getting KO'd like that.
And he was just there like not too long ago. He just walked back to the lane. It definitely does hurt. And now, of course, ball's on the court of Escape 5 for the time being. Miva. This is going to be turtling in. I mean, how much can you actually do to a Wigglytuff? Probably not so much in the early game, but here we go. A little bit more pressure being piled onto Secret Rare as they hook onto its post. 10 seconds from now, I want to see which Reggie's going to pop up.
Yeah, it'd be pretty interesting to see which one we get, right? If it's going to be Ice, Steel, or Rock, what buff we're looking at. Because depending on the buff, I do believe this is going to change the priority of which Reggie. And I can't quite hear what Reggie that is, so we will be taking a peek at that in just a second. But of course, we see Mukrob doing his thing, eliminating Miva. And this is a pretty big KO as well, because we know Miva is a very influential player on Secret Rare. But we have a fight, it's Reg Ice, and luckily for Secret Rare, they're able to pick that buff up for themselves. So they get the experience, they get the shield, and they also get the HP regen. And with 4 Pokemon here, very likely to try and break this Tier 1 goal.
Yeah, and with everyone pretty much fully evolved, they do have everything to offer, and that's where Blacklight looks to still go in for certain exchanges, but will be caught out.
Ooh, nice big pickup there from the Greninja. So they do eliminate the Dolphox. Now it's going to be a 2v2, and poor Moodok is not going to be able to do much there for the poor Piloswine. So he will be able to stun. He'll buy some time, but there's only so much you can do as that poor little unevolved Mamoswine. Now, they do need 80 points to break this bottom goal. And I do believe Secret Rare, they might just have enough to break it. They need the 40 from that Greninja, but they can't quite do it. Yeah, and here we go. We have this pesky Dodrio, Mukrob, doing some heavy lifting. He does get 1 elimination on the Aegislash, and it looks like Dan, he was taken out further on in that battle. So 2 Pokemon down for Secret Rare, and it looks like we're seeing a push here from Escape 5, because look, Tyranitar's fully evolved.
Oh boy, Escape 5, they're treading into line, and Secret Rare quickly goes in to rush towards Jazz. Still not enough damage being put in by Miva, but Sean will continue where he left off. While Hard have just arrived at the scene, they will be able to score a whole lot of points. But what can Escape 5 do? They try to hold on while Hard is being frozen for far too long. Just trying to break this one open, but Sid jumps to the back and finds Delphox.
Oh my goodness, so it was actually a little bit of a misplay there for Escape 5, right? They lost 3 Pokemon in that initial push. Secret Rare were able to sort of turn that fight on its head and start pushing themselves, but neither team has been able to successfully remove those tier 1 goals in the bottom lane. So we are going to be seeing more tussles down there because, of course, the Reggie has spawned in that bottom lane. I think that's Reggie Steel. I just heard it. We do have Regieleki in the top lane, and Mukrob going to do his thing. He's going to solo this, whereas the rest of the teams, they're going to all battle. Oh, it's Regice again.
Oh, that's going to be a lot of all these stacking buffs coming in for Secret Rare. Well, they're definitely happy to take whatever that's given while they commit into the fight, where every member of Escape 5 tries to flush them off. So close yet so far, and Hard still being the menace over on the back lines. Will eventually slowly be picked while Winnie holds the line for so long.
Mukrob's here. Mukrob's going to try and clear this fight up, and it looks like Secret Rare, they've just run out of gas, and the defense is there from Escape 5. They don't get the goal, and luckily for Escape 5, they're going to be getting a lot of experience on that Dodrio. Level 13, whereas the Greninja is level 12 on Secret Rare. So we're starting to see this craziness from Mukrob. And look at this, just an instant 50 done.
Wow, look at that.
Delicious.
He immediately gets over on the wall as well. Mukrob just sneaking his way into all these goal zones overall, while another pickup happens. This Urshifu is getting a little bit out of control.
Yeah, and we got Winnips here. He's going to try and stop that Blissey from scoring into the goal zone, and we'll be able to successfully kite them away. But so far, this game is looking fantastic for Escape 5. 219 points compared to the 95 here of Secret Rare. And both teams, they still have their tier 1 goals in that bottom lane. The only real difference is the top lane.
Yeah, top lane didn't seem to have received as much as attention. Schwa was picked up, while Jazz tries to juggle with this form of pressure, but the Snorlax is just disrupting them from getting any of these points being scored. Winnie still dished a little damage, but with the double sustain, I mean, they're about to fall. Oh my word! A double streak going in favor of Winnie.
Oh no, Delphox unfortunately misses the nuke there, so Miva is going to be able to get that KO, but it's fine. They do eliminate the Urshifu, so Miva is down. Oh dear, things are starting to go out of control here for Secret Rare.
Yeah, in Escape 5, they just love brute forcing their way through, and when you have the Tyranitar on board, you can basically last for days with enough sustainability. Strong, though, seeming to struggle a little bit more in this matchup while they try to get themselves that 15-pointer to at least get this goal out of the way. So
it's finally broken.
Yeah. Now, finally, the stretch for the 2 minutes have started. Rayquaza has appeared.
Yeah, so now it's going to be up to Escape 5 to potentially win this fight. But Memeswine, he's going to be stuck in the corner here. Lots of damage being taken. Aegislash already down to half health so far. And it looks like we see a Unite move there from the Delphox. It will force Secret Rare away. But here's the downside. That's not going to be available anymore for a fight. Looks like we got the Unite there from the Wigglytuff. Will not be able to survive that poor Delphox. It does go down 4v5 so far. And here comes a Tyranitar. Big bad boy, so tanky, and look at everyone on the side of Secret Rare. Their health is slowly going down, but so is Winnie. So this Tyranitar, he's sent reeling. Greninja doing a lot of the heavy lifting with the basic attacks, but Mukrob, we know this Dodrio is terrifying. But he is also scared to go into this battle as well because
he's so low.
If he gets caught by Miva, I think that's basically going to be it for Mukrob.
Yeah, they're just keeping this Rayquaza around 40%, and this is where Escape 5 jumps in. Who's gonna get it though?
Escape 5 are successful in being able to pick up the Rayquaza buff, and now they're going to start scoring these points. Now, of course, Mukrob, with insanely how fast he is, he can just go into the top lane, quickly score, get some more Pokemon, and now at Secret Rare, they're going to have to try and figure out how do they solve this problem now. They have to either go for a big push, or they need to try and eliminate some of these Secret 5 Pokemon and then score hold their own points, but they need, I mean, they're 400 points behind now, and that's a big ask already because you are basically asking for 200 points to be available on your Pokemon.
Yeah, and they only have like, what, 20 over seconds? I think like, this is done. This is dusted. Escape 5 just having great macro mechanics, and Moonkrop
just scores
casually goes in, goes out. Yep, this is what the Dodrio does. Oh, 3 points? Yep, sure. I'll put in 6.
Yep, just put in all the points, every single point. And look at him just spinning around. He's like, it's all right, guys. We know we won. Super happy. So what a great way to start the day here for Escape 5. They essentially, Escape 5 had the majority of the game in their hands. They were the tempo controllers. They were keeping Secret Rare stuck on their side of the map. Miva wasn't really able to accomplish much on that Urshifu. Even in these big battles, maybe he was able to get a couple of nukes, but aside from that, he was just getting picked off left, right, and center. And Dan had a tough game. I'm going to say it. This was definitely one of the toughest games we've seen Dan had to play.
Yeah, and it was so difficult for them, especially when you have majority of all these players of Escape 5 who basically had so many abilities to dive all the way to the back line as well, especially Moonkrop doing magnificently. Just look at how much chaos he scored throughout the course of the run. And I think like there's a few things that we also have to give a pat on the back of Escape 5, because this is their first point in the league that they've just gotten for themselves. So congratulations.
I mean, they're already happy, right? They've already secured that first point. Now it's a matter of whether they can close this series out. If they can 2-0 this, I think this is going to be such a big morale boost to Escape 5. Because last week, I think we have to be honest, right? Secret Rare is not a team to sneeze at. They did fantastic last week. So to be able to get a 2-0, a potential 2-0 here, this would be, I mean, if there was Escape 5, I'd just be dancing, you know? Super happy.
That's right, and just look at the graph. Like, of course, it was the final stretch that brought Escape 5 all the way to the top, but Secret Rare, I think like there was not really a point of time where they really had a convincing 5v5 as well.
Well, I think the closest one was probably at the Rayquaza pit, right? Where they almost got the pincer off onto the Mamoswine. They just didn't have enough, and I think it was the Wigglytuff Unite that actually saved it, right? The shielding. And so because Mamoswine was able to survive, Secret Rare blew a lot of their big abilities, and then that was sort of it, right? They ran out of gas when it came to the final fight. So, I mean, going into this next game, if you're Secret Rare and you've seen this lineup coming in from Escape 5, I think you want something a little more aggressive in the early game. Because the early game this game, they were very passive. Because they had Pokemon that needed to level up. They didn't have anything like a Dodrio or, let's say, a Zeraora. Anything with that really early game momentum that can really pressure the lanes.
Yeah, and I could see the reason why Secret Rare is struggling as compared to the last time they were fighting against MYS is because Escape 5, they just play at a very different tempo.
Yeah.
Where they just love running at you. They will circle you around and just keep putting that constant pressure. And I felt like Secret Rare didn't really knew what exactly was a solution to deal with this. Even they've tried stacking all together. This was that fight that you did mention. They almost closed it all out, but it still was a little bit more of a tussle where we did see Escape 5 still outlasting the majority of them.
Yeah, they definitely outlasted them in this department. But I really think it just came down to the fact that Secret Rare, you're up against a Tyranitar lineup, and even Mamoswine. One of the best ways to deal with these two Pokemon is to slow down their early game. And how do you do that? You pressure them with early evolving Pokemon. So I'd love to see maybe a bit of a change. Maybe Shua, instead of getting that Greninja, picking up something that has a little bit more power in the early game and just start harassing the Tyranitar or even pressuring the Mamoswine lane so that they evolve much later and that they're not as effective compared to their usual power spikes at their usual timings.
That's right, and of course that will be a lot of things that they will really have to adjust on the fly. But Secret Rare, I mean, the past week we see them getting 1 point off of MYS, and they've also been able to also put up quite a good showing on the very final hurdle of the best of 3. So against Escape 5, I think like they might actually go for something that they're even more comfortable with, because we see some of the changes here, and of course, Snorlax worked really well the past week, but with this comp that really runs really quickly, I think they need to really change some of the things that you did mention, getting those early evolutions, and other than that, I don't know.
It's hard to say.
Harder hitters. I mean, I'm not one of those guys out there that is at the same level, but I was just thinking, like, to deal with Escape 5, maybe you just take a look at the Renaissance playbook, right? Does that mean that we're gonna see that Pokemon again?
Well, I'd like to see the return of Greedent.
Oh, okay.
Right? Greedent's one of the most annoying Pokemon in the game, just because in most cases you just send the Greedent into the enemy central area and then he just harasses the central laner, right? That's what he's so good at, and he's just so annoying as well, and if he evolves, he becomes ridiculously difficult to KO. So I'd love to see Greedent, but we also don't know if the players can play Greedent, right? That's the most important thing. We can suggest Pokemon, we can think this Pokemon's a great counter, but if you can't play it, then it really doesn't matter. You really need to stick to the comforts. So draft for game number 2 is happening right now. Secret Rare going up against Escape 5, and right now Escape 5 sitting at a 1-game advantage. Can the Filipinos bring it back and push it to a game 3?
We shall find out really soon. Now, with the ban phase coming to a close, let's see which Pokemon is being banned away. Sable Eye, as well as another ban onto the Mr. Mime.
Really?
Junior absent? I think he is thinking about it.
Okay, there we go.
Still safe. We're in good hands with Urshifu and, you know, even Renaissance. They're thinking twice if they really want to bring it back when it comes down to the Dracopult pick, because it's always about high risk, high reward when Dracopult has been a little bit more squishy. So on the side of Escape 5, they're looking at a Blissey as well as a Scizor combo. So Secret Rare, they look at this combo and they think, okay, we've dealt with this before. I think it's safe this time for Dan to go back to the Snorlax duty.
Yeah. What?
Slowbro?
Oh, Slowbro and Snorlax. This is a really interesting pairing. So Snorlax and Slowbro do the same things. They're very tanky frontliners, they have a lot of sustain. Snorlax more so for disrupting, and then Slowbro can do one or two things. He's also a disruptor, but he's also just a great Pokemon to outlast. And I'm wondering if this is going to be a Scald Slowbro, because I don't think it's Surf. Because if it is Surf, I'm a bit worried that they're going to run out of damage.
Yeah, that's the main concern that we're looking at here, which is why, like, they're also considering Pikachu, and this is the first Pikachu out of the entirety of the Asia Champions League.
It's a ranged attacker. I mean, they kind of needed it, but they also have the Greninja.
Yeah, so they're basically relying on this Greninja to skill yet again, and hoping that Miva could also hold his own for most part of the game. And then my question is, who's gonna deal with this Dodrio?
Yeah, because
I think, like, that's the reason why they have Slowbro, perhaps.
Maybe, right? Just to literally catch him. I mean, that would justify Surf then, because if you Surf, if Dodrio walks into that Surf, that's it. You know, he's gonna get caught with no issues. Depending on Pikachu as well, I'm wondering if it's gonna be that Volt Tackle Pikachu, or if we're gonna be looking at I think it's Thunderbolt. It's the stun. One of the two stuns for Pikachu. I'm wondering which one it's going to be, because one is great from stunning from range, where you're being set up by Snorlax and Slowbro, but then you have Volt Tackle, which is a long stun, but it also puts Pikachu at risk of being KO'd himself. So, I want to see what Heart's going to do here. The Pikachu pick is definitely interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty cool to see how it actually fits into this composition as well. So I just want to see how Secret Rare improvise on some of all their team fighting abilities, because that's what Escape 5 have tried in the past game. So will this be a tie to push it to game 3?
I hope so. I'm always down to seeing 3 games, okay? I think you are as well.
Yeah, and of course we just start off pretty early here, and I'm definitely up for, you know, the long run.
they're just going to skip both of those Pokemon back there, and they're instead going to contest for the Indeedee. So focusing on those, on that experience, I wonder who got that in that bottom lane. But for now, we're just going to start seeing some scores here by Miva, and then of course we've got Winnie going for his scores as well. So both teams just going to go for those stacks, and then Dan, you know what Dan does? He's Urshifu getting taken down.
That's really early. I mean, probably has a little overextension, and same goes to Jazz as well. Escape 5 just having a few members being pretty much in trouble. Meanwhile, Blacklight says, you know what? I can't help you, brother.
He's going to have to come in and help. Oh, well. Sometimes it happens, you know, when you play that swine up, you got to be the one to sacrifice yourself to keep them busy so your teammates can focus on getting those wild Pokemon. But so far, so good. We did see a couple of KOs, though. It's unfortunate that Miva was the first one to be knocked out. And interesting, we're seeing a Sizzle this game. I just realized. It's a Sizzle. It's not going to be the Scyther.
I guess this gives them a little bit more of that prolonged sustain.
Yeah.
So you could basically buy more time or even draw the attention so that the Dodger can be either doing point guard duties. I mean, not only point guard, I mean, point scoring duties.
Ooh, Microb almost going to go down, and they even use the eject button as well, I believe. So they don't get that KO.
Had to.
Yep, he gets out, but Absent's still here, and it is going to be the Scald Slowbro. So the thing with Scald Slowbro is that it is really annoying for Pokemon that rely on their attack, right? Because once you get hit by the Scald, you get burnt, and when you get burnt, your attack does get reduced. So it makes the fights a little bit difficult. And if you also get hit by them, then the AoE for Scald is huge. And it looks like Dan is going to be taken out here. 3 Pokemon on Escape 5. Easy knockout. And I don't blame everyone on Secret Rare just abandoning that middle area. They just say, nope, 3 Pokemon, don't want to deal with it. And one of them's a Dodrio.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to give way sometimes instead of just forcing fights to happen.
Miva!
Oh, so close.
So close. Oh, that's so scary.
Yeah, indeed, that was. While we see Escape 5 actually leveraging on this early game so well, while Dan hoping to at least disrupt Winnie, but he's kind of under level though. I mean, challenging this Scizor isn't exactly the best idea if you want to go full force, because objectives are also spawning up. They have to rotate on time if they really want the Reggie.
Yeah, I'm also curious to see what the priority is here for the Reggies as well, if they decide to go for Alecki or if they're going to go for one of the bottom Reggies. And everyone in Secret Rare is going to focus on the bottom Reggie. So let's see, it's Regice. Again, interesting that we're seeing so much Regice, but here we go. The battle is happening. Secret Rare currently have a numbers advantage. Dan with a big heavy slam, but it doesn't really matter though. 3 Pokemon are down, 4 down on the side of Secret Rare. The only Pokemon left is going to be that Greninja. So even with the numbers disadvantage, Escape 5 clean that fight up.
Yeah, that was a beautiful clearance. Like, it doesn't seem like they were all too hindered, other than, of course, it's ended up sacrificing for the good cause, right? So, Regis now up for grabs, and Secret Rare nowhere to be near.
Yeah, this is pretty devastating as well, because you're the lineup that's picked up the Snorlax as well as the Slowbro together. Because you also have to remember, picking up these 2 defenders, you've basically sacrificed the potential support Pokemon that you could have had. And look at this, they're going to try and go for Beaver. Oh my gosh, the pain he must be feeling. This Dodrio, such a pain to deal with. He's just zipping all over the place, knocking people out.
Yeah, and this is just going to continue to be...
Scald.
Oh, okay.
It misses.
And he tried pretty much. So Mukrop finally being stopped.
But they're sacrificing the Reggie Alecki while doing this. Like, they didn't even bother because they thought, oh, it's going to be knocked out by the time we get there. So, man, Secret Rare, this series has been really tough.
Yeah, and it's already 207 points. I didn't really expect till I checked the clock. It's only like 5 minutes in. And there goes Jazz. He's setting it up for everybody else.
Looks like they are, but it doesn't quite catch anybody. He actually tried to ult back into his teammate, so he wasn't going to be caught onto the goal pad. Now, Alecki is about to go down, so if you're Escape 5, you got to either push now or back up, and it looks like they will choose to back up instead. They almost lost the Delphox, but luckily was able to get on out of there. Secret Rare, though, I mean, they successfully defended, but this team has to rely on the Rayquaza flip now.
Yeah, it's a little bit too much of a stretch without it. While even when it comes down to those team funds, I guess like the damage department, well, you have to deal with the Blissey on top of all things, right? Like, do you have enough is the question. So Jazz comes in with an attempt. Gonna quickly divert his attention back in towards the top lane, and Escape 5 just waiting for the right moment to basically set up this pincer. Look at the position of Scizor. I think he's up to something.
Maybe. I mean, look at Mukrob as well. He's just waiting to jump onto someone. And I do believe he did run into Dan. Dan is pretty low. And look at this. The Delphox is ready, but no. Pikachu is there with the Volt Tackle. Looks like Dan may just be able to survive. But look at this Moodog, this Blissey. Going to be drawing attention away from his teammates. So no one reinforced in that bottom lane. But it did come at the cost of a Blissey. And again, look at these Regices. We're just getting Regice
every single
in these games.
Regice, I mean, it's probably like, what, 3 in a row for the most part. So
yeah.
There we go. Some points being scored right in for Secret Rare.
Just being annoying.
Oh.
Actually getting United as well. Sad times. I mean, he goes down.
Well,
I guess it's a good thing for Secret Rare. But look at this, the backstab.
Oh, this is going to be dangerous.
Oh my goodness, they've actually managed to catch him though. 2 Pokemon, sorry, 1 Pokemon down, and it was going to be Mukrob as well. The Dodrio eliminated on Escape 5, and we know this is a powerhouse Pokemon on the side of Escape 5. Miva starting to really put the work in. Now we do still have 2 Pokemon here. We got the elimination there of the Greninja, and it looks like the Slowbro is going to be next. He's going to try and score this
Give me that
Pokemon.
4 points.
Look at him, he's just being a pain. You know, he's just scolding Pokemon. But Miva luckily gets out, so that is the good news. It's just a Slowbro.
Yeah, just a Slowbro, but it's only 1 more minute before we get our way into Rayquaza. So
Unites are up for the majority of these teams too. If we look at Unites, Blacklight has his Unite, we've got the Blissey Unite, we've got the Mamoswine Unite, we're just waiting on Dodrio as well as Scizor, and then if you take a look at Secret Rare, we're just waiting for the Greninja, Urshifu and the Slowbro Unites. All these teams are going to want to try and smack as many wild Pokemon as they can to get those recharged, because these Unites are going to be so important at the Rayquaza pit.
And it will be. So everyone's got to make sure that they keep one at hand. And I'm looking at the Slowbro. I mean, we're still waiting to see if they could actually get it activated. I mean, 20 seconds should be just about more than enough by then. Regieleki now secured by Winnie.
And it's 13 seconds before Rayquaza, so Secret Rare either have to defend or they're going to have to let this go and maybe even allow Escape 5 some easy points. Like, we know Mukrob is going to be so good. Oh, he just gets blown up!
What?
He ran right into Secret Rare. Oh my goodness. And then there's going to be a fight. Escape 5, they lost one of their big Pokemon. And look at this, 2-person stun. They do manage to throw all the Unites down. And Escape 5, it's almost a clean white Blacklight, the only one left. He will still survive. 2 Pokemon down on Secret Rare. It's now down to the Delphox. But if he gets caught by a Volt Tackle from Heart, that is it.
Oh, still more damage to be done.
Dodrio's
still
back.
looking for Miva.
They need to clear it up. Dodrio's back. Look at him. He's uniting in. They won't be able to get it though. Left side, they do get the Rayquaza buff, and now it's time to score points. It's 322 compared to the 113. They need more than 200 points. They're actually still behind even if they score 200. And the Pikachu won't be able to get it. The defense on Escape 5 is here. What does Secret Rare do? Do they have to pull off the same thing as Renaissance last week?
They will
Group
have
up
to.
and push down these lanes.
There's no other option than to do so, right? Like, Escape 5, you can see that they're just brick walling. They don't really have many of all these options available.
They need to group up.
Dodrio might be able to sneak a couple of points as well. We'll have to check whether if that can be doable. And here, the pressure is on. Secret Rare on that push.
And here we go. They need to make the push happen. Dan is so low, but look at this. Winnie going to try and turn onto the Greninja. He will go down, though. So that's going to be only 2 Pokemon to defend. Dodrio, though, look at this. Mukrob sitting in the sidelines, hoping these Pokemon overextend. He's going to come in. He gets stunned up, though. Mukrob cannot afford to go down. He has to be the one to do the damage, or he's going to have to back cap. And look at this. He is going to back cap top lane. We've got Pikachu trying to score 100. Will not be able to get it. Delphox jumping in at the right time. We still have the battle in that bottom lane. Mukrob will manage to score those points. But look at this, Dan. He's teleported back. He's going to stop that poor Dodrio from those points. 386 to 213. We need to score something. Secret Rare. They just can't do it.
They couldn't do it. They try every single step of the way, but they are just met with this brick wall as Escape 5 secures the victory.
Man, this has got to be such a wonderful feeling for Escape 5, especially after the games last week. They've now picked up 3 points for themselves in this match alone, and Secret Rare, they take home nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad to see. I mean, they've been doing decently at the very least, but that team fight over on that Rayquaza, though, was quite shocking, I would say. That they just basically turned the entire fight around and they had an opening. But the problem was, like, after getting that Rayquaza, they didn't really have enough time to basically get anywhere close to the goal zone. And by then, that Pikachu was being focused down, the shield was already been broken, so you can't go for those insta scores. So
yeah, I mean,
kind of sad for Secret Rare.
Yeah, it was really tough, right? Because they got all those KOs on Escape 5, but the disadvantage to this is that even if you pick up the Rayquaza, if Escape 5 haven't left the base already, they're going to have an easy time just jumping into whatever goal zones that need defending, right? They just use the jump pad. I feel like for this game, maybe after getting the Rayquaza, maybe Secret Rare got a little bit overexcited. They could have backed up. They could have backed up, they could have regrouped, and they could have pushed together. And I think that would have been a bit of a different scenario, but they split up. They were hoping that Escape 5 weren't going to be able to catch everybody. And it didn't work this time.
Yeah, and with that first Escape 5, after so much hard work and determination, and within a week worth of time training for the moment, they've finally got that 3 points like you said. So before we, of course, look at all these standings, let's also take a look at the charts of how the game has won, because everything has been looking on an upwards trajectory for Escape 5. And to me, like 207 points by 6 minutes, that's telling you that, hey, it's a smooth cruise.
Yeah, I mean, only one Pokemon got to score the 100 at the end there, right? It was just the Slowbro. No one else was able to get those points in. But if we take a look on the other side here, we've got Escape 5's points. And I mean, you managed to still get 64 here on Mukrob. Moving forward, I think teams are just going to have to ban Dodrio.
At one point, but then again, with him still being somewhat counterable, I don't know. Is it going to be the biggest of priorities? You got Mew, you got other stuff, but
yeah.
I could see the reason why. I just feel like it's just that, you know, Escape 5's Dodrio is just better than everybody else.
It's better than everybody else's. I mean, that's a pretty good way of describing it. I really feel like the Dodrio might be worth a ban here. Just because he does so much in the early game as well. He's relatively good when it comes to pressuring. He can be pretty much everywhere on the map just because of how mobile he is. He's a great Pokemon for when you're trying to go for those little picks, right? When you're trying to chase somebody that's running away. This Pokemon is uncontested when it comes to chasing. But we do see the fight here where things looked like they were going to turn for Secret Rare. It was just Black Light salvaged it, right? Getting that double KO onto Dan and Greninja. If either of these Pokemon were still alive, I think we would have seen a different game.
True enough, and with Secret Rare really putting everything in the basket with the Rayquaza push, and you just look at Escape 5 being so prepared, especially when he even willing to give it out for the team, and then this Mamoswine is just the resident keeper of this whole zone itself.
Yeah.
And then what could Secret Rare do? I mean, like, try as they may, I mean, every time they try to channel the Aeos energy, they just get cancelled.
Yeah, I mean, there's also something to note as well. With the Icicle Crash, I think it's Icicle Crash on Mamoswine, if you throw it on the goal, on your goal, it slows down the charge, like the goal scoring on the other side, so it actually takes you longer to score points. And this is incredibly important if you're trying to defend. Yeah, it is so useful, so important. So just having Mamoswine on that tier 2 goal by himself, it's already such a pain, you know? You got this giant Pokemon trying to shove you off the goal pad, and then you also have him freezing the goal pad, so crazy stuff. But luckily for us, we have an interview here with Jazz. So let's see what Jazz has to say after that fantastic victory. I think he's going to come in just a second. There we go. Hi, Jazz. Welcome to the stream. Congratulations on your win. How are you feeling?
We feel really tired.
Oh, you're
because
tired.
they are really strong. Yeah, they
They're
are
really
strong.
strong. So Jazz, I need to ask you. Does Mukrop only play Dodrio? Because his Dodrio is so good.
To be honest, Mukop is the player that can play the most Pokemon in our team.
Really?
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you're telling us that Dodrio is just one out of the many. So I guess like you guys are also preparing for other matches as well. So when do you feel like it's the right time to change some of the draft? And I think like also we want to talk about, you know, last week you guys have such a close game against Renaissance, and that itself was still in my mind like, wow, if you guys are offering so much, you know, like I'm pretty sure we'll see more. And how does it feel, you know, coming to this week, you get that perfect 2-0, getting those 3 points back? Pretty sure it was a relief, huh?
The last week game is really hard. Like I feel like we feel a little bit depressed after the game, but after we get the victory, it's much better for us.
That's good to hear. So, Jazz, I want to ask you one more question before we'll let you have your break for this evening. Did you get a chance to practice with any of the teams from the Asia Champion League before the tournament started, or is this the first time that you're playing against some of the teams?
Yeah, we scrim with a few teams. Yeah, so that's T2 and the INT team.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting. Okay.
Japan and India. Yeah,
Interesting. All right. Well, thank you so
and
much.
we also yeah
It's
we
okay.
also play a bit with some of our Thai team
Oh.
to practice for this tournament.
That's great, and I'm glad that all these practice have worked wonders for you guys. And we'd like to thank you for joining us for this interview, and we hope for the best for the entirety of Escape 5. Take care, Jazz.
Thank you.
Thank you. สวัสดีครับ
Oh my goodness. After that win and him saying that he's tired, I can absolutely understand. I think the entire team is going to have such a good night tonight.
Yeah, I mean, they really worked so many hours for this very moment, so they definitely deserve that slight break that they do have, and then back to the grind. So with that concluded, we still have one more series to go, Natalie.
But that's a good thing. So this next matchup is going to be super exciting because it's going to be the debut of the Indonesian team, Team Rise. We haven't seen them play at all. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how the Indonesians do up against some of our Southeast Asian brothers and sisters. Well, technically just brothers. I don't think there are any female players. Brothers.
Well.
Trainers. There we go.
Well,
All the trainers.
we probably will have a few in the upcoming
Maybe in the
tournaments.
future.
So hopefully we'll get to see more and more trainers to be involved. And for now, of course, all this is invited. And let's now take a look at the updated standings of the bracket. So let's go ahead and see who's currently making measures and moves. And of course, with the win coming in from Escape 5, they are now having 3 points, and they will now settle with a tie with every top team out there. But that's also because the rest of the team have yet to play.
Yes, so we still haven't seen Rise play as of yet, so their ranking is technically, if you want to say, you could say 5th, right? They're not scored anything. But for the rest of the teams, you're still seeing Renaissance in 1st because they had that 2-0. Team MYS in 2nd place because they got the 2-1 for their first match of the tournament. And then Escape 5 are in 3rd because they played their 2nd game and they got a 2-0, which is the most important thing. So Escape 5, I think they're going to be happy to bring themselves back into this tournament because originally they were sitting in 4th place because they had no points. So there's such a relief for Escape 5. I'm so happy for them as well because they did so incredibly well in this series that they deserve this comeback.
Yeah, and you can even see from Jazz, like he's just so relieved, right? Like right after celebrating, and he joins us, and he's just sharing those moments and telling us about the past week, and you know, now sleeping early for the night, and
having
then
a break.
next week probably he'll be even more jolly. So let's see if they would be able to score even more through the charts. So I believe we should prepare ourselves for the next series.
And in terms of preparing, firstly, we're going to have a quick commercial break. So as always, if you need to, go to the toilet, grab your snacks, your drinks, and even call your friends to watch the tournament with us. But we'll be back in 5 minutes for our next series of the day. We'll see you after this. Pokemon trainers, and welcome back to the Pokemon Unite Asia Champions League Southeast Asia Division. We've just finished up our first series of the day, which means we've got one more to go before we close out the night, and we're both really excited, of course, Contra, because we're going to see the debut of the Indonesian team, Team Rise. We haven't seen this team play at all, and I'm really curious to see how they fare against the other teams.
That's right, and with that, I would say that the Indonesia region have so many talents on board, and this is their top team, of course. So I'm pretty sure that Darius Drew, he'll be really happy to see if they could actually get some wins for today. So with that being said, the teams are ready.
Yes, now the teams in question, it's going to be Team Rise going up against Team MYS. So essentially it is Malaysia going up against Indonesia. So on the side of Malaysia or Team MYS, we have Yang, Night Mew Foxy, Froggy, Yemu, and Rebongs. Whereas on the side of Rise, we have Zoe, Io, I think is it AXQ? AXQ? AXQ sounds cool. Necro, and Illuna.
Yeah, and we'll definitely want to take a look at who to watch overall. And I think last week, you know, Rebongs have been pulling some crazy spectacles. And it is the first player, or sorry, trainer, to actually introduce to us how to play Tyranitar as well as Rise. There's a lot that they will be able to offer. So let's also take a look at the highlights for Team NYS Rebongs.
So Rebongs' favorite Pokemon include Absol and Dodrio, and one of his favorite hobbies is obviously playing games. That's what Pokemon Unite is. So, I mean, this man is pretty straightforward. He played a fantastic series last week, right? He was handling the Tyranitar for 2 games. I'm trying to think, what was the first Pokemon that he played in that first series?
It was so good, you forgot. Like
the Tyranitar was terrifying.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's a bit too much if you ask anybody.
Was it Dodrio? Because I do remember MYS did play Dodrio in their first game.
Probably the case, but of course, I will have to go back to the VODs. You guys should also check out the VODs as well. Now, that's for Team MYS. Let's head over to our team hailing from Indonesia, Team Rise, Eeyore.
Now, of course, for Eeyore, he also loves playing the Dodrio, but he also likes playing Dragonite, a Pokemon that we haven't seen in the tournament thus far. So far, he's been into MOBAs since 2005, which is a very long time.
He's an OG. I mean, like, man, we're counting the years here? Like
17 years?
18? 17?
I don't want to say 18 because we're just in 2023. So if it's 2022... 17 years into MOBAs.
I like the way you think, because some people, like, they think, like, the moment that they go into 2023, it's like, hey, I'm 1 year older already. Like, that's not how it works, right?
That's not how it works. Oh, goodness. But it just means that he's going to be very experienced in the genre. But for anyone that doesn't know what MOBAs are, it's a video game genre. It's like, what? Multiplayer online battle arena. That's what the genre is called. Pokemon Unite is sort of in that category. And so to have that much experience playing other games that are very similar, that's going to give you an advantage when you play Pokemon Unite, because you're going to understand certain mechanics more than people that may have just decided to get into Pokemon Unite competitively. Now the draft is ready, Contra. Let's get into it.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this moment, and Team MYS will have the advantage of the first pick of this series. So Team Rise will go ahead to see what will they need to weed out. Tyranitar, is it worth it?
Look, I bet Mew. I think you have to get rid of Mew. You can't give Night Mew Foxy Mew. We saw last week, right? Had to be banned. Urshifu, so Mew was in the pool.
Oh.
Okay.
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 MYS will be pretty happy with the options available. Mr. Mime is also something that we'll be looking at as well.
Oh, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But if Froggy is here, he's playing Mr. Mime if it's available. Unless Rise, pick it for the next 2 picks, right? Because first pick, Mew for Night Mew Foxy, understandable. No problems.
Now they're thinking about Clefable, Altagas, like mainly supportive Pokemons to kick things off for Team Rise, and then it will be paired up with the Scizor. So this has to be a Mr. Mime angle. So they're just thinking, should they actually reveal all their cards all too early? I think
no,
that's a given. Froggy's just got to take it.
I don't think Mr. Mime is a Pokemon that is going to limit you in any way. I feel like this is just so good in every lineup that you could probably pick him as your support all the time.
True.
So I think it's totally fine if Froggy wants to go for that Mr. Mime. But Rebongs, now we don't know if this is Rebongs as a Pokemon. It might just be his teammates, but I love the Mamoswine pickup. I think this is a great way to deal with the Scizor or Scyther, depending on what it could be. I do believe it'll be Scyther because we've seen that very popular so far. And is Yang gonna actually pick up Glaceon? Because this
Just
will
thinking
be...
about it.
Oh, Delphox.
Last minute switch up.
Yep.
And it's also great to see that MIS is also trying something absolutely different with, things like the Azumarill as well as the Mamoswine, which they did not really pull into the past matchups all too much. Although Ninetales being considered for Team Rise as the final pick, that will be locked in. So we are now down to the preparation phase. I don't think that much has changed. No swap of hands, and oh, finally we do. So it's Luna on that Snorlax and Zoe on Eldegoss.
Interesting. Okay, so we are going to be seeing Rebongs playing that Mamoswine for the team. We did see him play a lot of Tyranitar last week. He did play 2 games in that burst of 3, did a fantastic job. So I'm really keen to see what he's going to be able to do on that Mamoswine. But looking at the compositions, I'm going to lean a little bit more towards MYS because firstly, we know that this team is relatively good. They've given Mew to Night Mew Foxy. We know how crazy this guy is on that Pokemon. We know Froggy is also very confident on that Mr. Mime. But Rise, I want this team to surprise me. I want them to come out blazing and to prove that Indonesia is a region to worry about.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've seen some of all these highlights online of what they can actually offer at Team Rise. I mean, they've made a name for themselves already. So
yeah, already, yep. Two of their players went to Worlds last year. And I mean, they even have players from OG, right? So it kind of says a lot. Like, the entire team's relatively experienced.
Yeah, I would say that recently I've been to Bali. I've been talking to, some of the casters I met there as well as players. But it's not from Team Rise, of course. That there's just a lot of huge fans of Pokemon there, and they treat it really seriously. And you can already see a little bit of pressure on Yimu, sneaking that 11 point.
I love seeing Marill before it turns into Azumarill.
So
like, look
cute,
at the arms and the ears and the bouncy tail. Like, let me be Marill a little bit longer, but that's a nerf, so don't do that. It's so okay, never mind. It's not cute anymore. I'm sorry.
It's still cute to me. I mean,
I like Marill more. It's all just bouncy. Now this.
They know that we're talking
jiggly.
about cuteness, so they're just turning all around.
Everyone's round. That's right. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I love Mamoswine. Like when he's a little swinub, he's like a tiny pillow.
Tiny pillow.
He is a pillow when he tackles. Does he not look like a pillow?
Yeah, you're right. Or
or
like
a cushion.
we're gonna go into the furniture categories later on, but Team Rise, I think they find themselves into the hot soup, and there goes first knockout onto that Snorlax.
Yeah, quite painful. But what can you really do? You have to constantly be wary of that Mew because you've got the long-range Solar Beam, so you can basically just attack from downtown, and most players won't even know where the Mew is, right? Because in Pokemon Unite, right now, there are currently no items that give you additional vision throughout the map, so you can't really see where Pokemon are rotating unless you have someone physically there. The alternative is if you have a Sableye, right? So the Sableye is the only one that can really do it. There's no items. But it looks like, big fight there for the Swablu and Altaria. And I think Eldegoss might go down. It looks like it will happen. Ooh. So Eldegoss for Rise gets KO'd.
Yeah, it's just a lot of push and pull, and both teams are equally matched. And we saw MIS. They did so much on the past week, and Yimu slowly getting chased upon for the time being. Well, it shouldn't take too much. A couple of berries will be able to heal Yimu back up. Well, Yang, with the constant pressure, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah, you have to be really careful when you're around the Delphox because it's got such a great ability for sniping away those wild Pokemon, and it does so much damage as well, so it's hard to outlast hit the power of that Delphox. And look at it! Oh my goodness.
Ridiculous stuff.
Both Pokemon get hit and they lose a third of their health.
You can already picture what they're saying to each other is like, ouch. You know, like,
It's a physical. You can see the text. Just ouch. All right, so we get a big rotation here. Scyther's going to be a little bit late to the party here for Rise, but so far MYS, they're going to hold their own. And oh, interesting choice there from the Dodrio, actually running right in, but Eeyore almost going down. He will go for a little bit of a hit, but he does unfortunately go down as well. 2 Pokemon going to be KO'd on the side of Rise, and Scyther going to be the next one to follow. Oh my goodness. I kind of feel like Rise went a little bit too deep too soon. They sent the Snorlax in so deep and it left the backline Pokemon very exposed, and then MYS just sort of dove after that, right? You lose the Snorlax, you've lost your front line, you've lost your wall. And then Eeyore, so ballsy, right?
Yeah.
Just going in, he's like, I'm gonna run in there.
I was pretty concerned for Eeyore where he ran in. I think like he saw a small window and then it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna chase, and then like quickly U-turns away. Actually, Rise did manage to secure the Regis, while there will be a little bit more of that jostle of control for the fight over on top. Regieleki online, but there's only Snorlax as well as the Elgato. I don't think that Rise looks forward to this.
Yeah, I think it looks like they just want to give this away. They want to focus more on getting experience.
Oh,
unfortunately, Eldegoss going to be sent back to the base for free, and Snorlax as well. Rise, interesting decision to stick around for the fight, but they did get a 3-person KO though. So they will have the Scyther, but just gets cut down there by Yang and Yamu as well on the Azumarill.
Wow. Solid work, I gotta say.
Regieleki didn't even go down. So
yeah,
now they have it to go to the second goal.
Yeah, I guess like this, Lecky's gonna take a long stroll. I think that there's just about enough. Just a little bit, hop, skip, jump coming in. Well, Team Rise will eventually attend to that. While they do though, I mean, another Reggie's gonna spot up right down bottom. Illuna, I think, like, tried to jump in preemptively in that past fight. It got taken out pretty early on. I think, like, that kind of cost Team Rise a little bit more.
Yeah, that really felt like the issue here for Rise. I do wish this team maybe just slow things down a little bit, try and find that opening, because you have to worry about the Mew. Heavy Slam misses, actually, and they will go in. No Pokemon going to go down yet. Rebongs, though, he's going to be able to hit that level 9. I do believe he evolved, but he is going to go down. No! He does manage to throw that Unite down first. Catches only the Eldegoss, though. Looks like it's going to be 2 Pokemon down, both defenders on both sides, but now look at this. Mew going to jump right into the middle of the fray, and poor Axeq going to be going down, but Dodrio, Eeyore, he tried to do some damage, but instead he's going to go down. Eldegoss going to be left behind. We still have the Scyther coming in. Heavy Slam there from the Snorlax, but they're just not confident enough to try and burst these Pokemon down.
Yeah, and I think by now Team Rise is going to be pretty far behind, and who's going to be able to stop that Delphox? I mean, it's just so strong. Now, hitting level 13, well, even the Scyther might actually do just a little bit of damage, but by then it might actually survive. Oh, I mean, couldn't survive the brunt of it.
Yeah, so I think we're also starting to see a contrast in play when it comes to the Dodrio, right? Because we've been seeing a lot of crazy Dodrio plays, but this game, Eeyore has been feeling or looking very uncomfortable going into these fights, right? He hasn't really been able to find those openings to try and snipe the squishies. He's sort of like gone in. He's not able to finish anyone off, and then he just sort of gets blown up afterwards. So I'm wondering if Rise is communicating this, and they're saying to Eeyore, you know, wait until you find that opening. But where is it?
It's not existing for the time being.
Let's go pull out his binoculars, and you're like, where is it?
Take a telescope if you want, under the binoculars, but now escorting the Regieleki all the way towards the second goal zone for the top side. So this is where Team Rise have to pull off another defense. But will MYS jump into it?
Axeq, you gotta be so careful. This Alolan Ninetales can do a lot of damage, but unfortunately also takes a lot of damage. Very, very squishy Pokemon.
Indeed. I think like by now, MYS feels pretty confident. Just trying to hold him off. Zoe runs directly into the brush. And you know what? Wild Pokemons appear.
When you lose your Eldegoss, it really hurts, right? Because you pick the Eldegoss because you want the sustain, you want to have the healing, and then of course you've got the Unite that can heal your team and also have that pushback. But Yeah, if you lose the Elder Gods, I mean, that's basically all of the sustain gone for Rise.
If you want to face check, just let the Snorlax do the job. I mean, just hold back, be the secondary one to be able to supplement. Now, Rayquaza is up. Team Rise, are they prepared enough? They do have the Unite moves up available. And I guess, like, this is going to be where it will put them to the test. How well can they handle these fights? Eeyore, 26, 28. Okay, is there more?
He's going to grab those, and Necro's going to be here. They do spot Froggy. They're going to try and push this Mr. Mime back. Now, this Pokemon is isolated. We'll be able to eject Button out of there. So luckily, he was able to not get picked off. That would have been big if they lost Froggy right off the bat. So no more eject button for this Mr. Mime for the next 40 seconds. And it looks like they will get a heavy slam. They're going to try and push back that Mamoswine, but they lost the Snorlax so quickly. And look at this. They're just running away. They're like, oh gosh, we've made a mistake. We've lost our defender.
Yeah, and the moment that he's down, like, you just see the York just brick walling them once again. Now, just camping it out.
They saw.
All they have to do is buy time.
They saw. Oh, goodness. Dodrio's come in, so Eeyore's going to be coming in from the side. Necro trying to go for some snipes here. He's going to be stunned up by that Mr. Mime. He'll get KO'd immediately. Now MYS going to be running rampant on top of Rise. Delphox has gone down, though. Froggy's going to go down, and it looks like maybe we're looking at a turnaround here. Eldegoss must survive, gets the shield up. Mew is here with the Surf. They will get that pushback. It's going to be 2 versus 2. They will lose that poor Mew. It's going to be down to that Azumarill, and Eeyore is here. He can be the one to take out Yemu, but here's the thing, they still got to score points, and no, he's going to score points instead. Though. Yeah, so he's going to focus on scoring. There's no Pokemon alive. 26.
Oh, they take the lead.
They're actually leading. Yeah, they got to keep this going. If you're MYS, they can't even take Zap. They can't even take Rayquaza.
What?
Have they made the comeback happen?
And it's all down to that Dodrio, you know, like Eeyore, you know, he ran all around the map, and he's the one to put them on the map. Team Rise on their debut
the comeback
will come in to secure at least one corner with this huge comeback for Indonesia.
They did it! Rise coming back when it was most important. And everything came down to the Dodrio pick, because I think if it was any other Pokemon, he would have been KO'd, because we saw the rotation. We saw MYS. They saw Eeyore scoring. They were running up Yemu as well as Froggy. They didn't make it because he only had to score those two like thirds of his points. Oh my goodness.
Unbelievable. Look at the score charts, you know, like MYS was like, okay, everybody contributes.
I know.
And Eeyore was the single man carry with 233 points.
Look, the game was really tough for Rise. I think we do have to acknowledge Team MYS.
It is.
They applied so much pressure onto Rise. It was just that final stretch. This is where the speedsters come in very handy. Yeah, because you need them to get those last couple points over the line. Oh my goodness.
Eeyore. He is the MVP for sure for this matchup.
Absolutely.
I feel like the next game maybe it won't be the same scenario anymore, because MYS will definitely be on the lookout to go for some defenses. But that overcommitment coming from MYS, they didn't really have to start that Rayquaza. All they had to do, wait it out, and of course slowly peel them away, draw more members of Team Rise, but they forgot. I mean, somebody's got to defend.
Yeah, I suppose, but the thing is, like, it's so hard to also chase the Dodrio. You can't leave someone on the sidelines all the time, because you don't know where he's going to be.
Cat
2 Pokemon, and then it's 3 versus 5. Okay, good strat. But man, it's just insane that Eeyore was able to bring this game back with those last couple points. And I think if you're MYS as well, you've got to be pretty devastated. You know, you put so much energy and effort into defending the Rayquaza, and you thought it was going to be enough, but then this happens.
Yeah, and you take a look at that, they stagnated from 4 minutes or 5 minutes onwards, where they're just stuck at that 214 pointer, and they weren't being I mean, they were proactive enough to try to go for certain fights, but when it comes down to, you know, needing to put a little bit more of that pressure onto Team Rise, I felt like they were just tunnel visioning onto the midsection where Rayquaza was.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, Rayquaza is essentially the end game, right? And as we can see, this is Rise's stats. Just Eeyore the whole way. Just Eeyore.
That's the cleanest blocklet I've seen.
It would have been perfect, I think, if he managed to get something in like every block. But, you know, sometimes beggars can't be choosers. He did a fantastic job. Just, I really worried about Eeyore in that mid game. You know,
He deserves a pay raise, for sure.
pay raise, promotion, promoted to king. Yeah, the emperor. Man, I'm very sure like the whole team must be ecstatic as well. But I'm really curious. I would love to hear the voice comms on Rise to see like what was the decision. Like, were they screaming at him to score points? Were they saying like we've got to take Rayquaza? Like, what was going on? Because clearly it was chaotic.
Or it could be the other way around. It's like, guys, I got this.
I got this.
That's all it need, right? MYS were great with all these team fights and just seeing them go at it. I mean, it's just so methodical where Team Rise absolutely gets overwhelmed and they just lose members after members after members, which is why they struggle so early, even in the span of like, what, 4 to 5 minutes. Oh, they're already down to like a deficit of 150 over points.
I mean, it was a pretty big deficit, but I think this was the game deciding fight here, right? So just all of these Pokemon getting KO'd, it looked okay for MYS, but then all of a sudden you lost your big damage dealer in that Delphox. It just came down to the Mamoswine as well as the Azumarill, and it just wasn't really enough. And then you saw on the side there, Eeyore just scoring all those points. The most important double dunk of 26 points of his life.
26. Man, like, I don't know, like
52, I think.
there's just so many of all these close games. I mean, even from the past week itself, we've already seen what the Thai team, the Thai region could actually offer, and now Indonesia on their debut, looking
good.
so strong, and that's Team MYS.
Now, here's the thing, though. This was a really tough game for Rise. I want to see what Rise will look like when they are in control of the game. What does this team look like? Because they managed to pull a comeback by a sliver, I think mostly because they had the Dodrio. If they had any other speedster, I think this would have been a different game. But what's this team look like when they're on form? When they're the ones in control?
On form, I think like there's probably multifacets of what they could possibly churn out with when it comes down to composition. I believe Team Rise have already been around for quite a while, so when they have played in those previous metas, but now adjusting to this new one, if let's say Dodrio was taken away, what do you think will be the closest option for Eeyore, if that's the case?
Probably Scyther, really.
Scyther.
But it really depends. You know, I don't know much about the Indonesian teams, unfortunately, so this is sort of an insight for me as well to see how Rise like to play and also what Pokemon are available. I'm curious to know if maybe teams are just going to start banning Dodrio, right? Because we've seen a lot of teams handle this Pokemon very well. He's very fast, he's so mobile, he can be all over the map, and if he manages to get that momentum, he just turns into a force to be reckoned with. But no ban this time. Sableye eliminated, as well as that Urshifu, and MYS get the first pick. They're going to go for the Scyther or Scizor here, most likely Scyther. I don't think we've seen MYS pick up the Scizor yet. And Rise, is it going to be the Dodrio? Because I think they did first to pick it in that last game.
They got the Mew available, and immediately Zoe goes in for that pickup. Eeyore's gotta get it. I mean,
Not
this
surprised.
is the 3-point pointer overall. Well, because Dodrio's got it.
It was the must pick. It saved them last game. He's going to be the good luck charm, the good luck trinket. You have to play it again.
Exactly. I was just about to say, you know, like usually like 3-pointers, like you need this time you need 3 hits for those. So
oh my gosh.
Yep. And let's skip that. We have an Aegislash as well as Slow Roll on the side of Team MYS.
Oh goodness. So I was going to be pretty surprised if Rise did go for the double defender strat, but no, going to go for that Mr. Mime, which means there's going to be no Mr. Mime for MYS, but they did pick up the Slow Bro. And it looks like our final 2 are going to be the Clefable and possibly that Delphox. They just got to lock it in here. They're still thinking. and it is going to be Delphox. So full lineup here for MYS. They've got the backline DPS with Delphox. You've got your two frontliners here. You've got Nightmare Foxy. We've seen his Aegis Slash. He is a beast. And then we've got Yemu likely on the Scyther, who's just going to do all kinds of Scyther things. Bounce around, pick off all the squishies. And the final picks on Rise, it's going to be the Machamp.
Wow, and everything's still looking pretty solid, where not only you have that Snorlax to be pretty durable, I think like with the Machamp, it does give them a little bit more things to work with, while ER does ER things. I think like with Mew being able to also provide quite some utility as well as burst, so this is where all of them will be able to not only buy time for this Dodrio, but also to outfight Team MYS in multiple occasions.
So the Clefable on the side of MYS. I'm curious to know if it's just going to be that normal Moonlight Clefable that heals, or if we're going to do Follow Me. Because the Follow Me shenanigans could be quite problematic, especially if you also go for the self-heal as well, because then all of a sudden you're looking at a secondary tank. And we've seen Rebongs, he likes to be in the front lines, he likes to absorb damage, and that playstyle just sounds more like Rebongs, but who knows, we'll have to find out. It could just be Moonlight Gravity. I mean, you kind of want that against the Dodrio as well, right? Because you don't want him to just sort of zip around all over the place. But the game started. It's going to be Delphox in that central area here for MYS. And of course, Eeyore's Dodrio going to be in the central area for Rise. Now, let's see who makes the move first.
Yeah, and I think like this time around, Eeyore definitely has a target on his back by not one, but two. Luna tries to make a dash out, and so much that Snorlax could possibly do. There is just about enough distance so Rebounds won't be able to secure it. Now, I was about to get to my point, right? Like the Aegis Slash as well as the Scyther, all built to basically seek out this Dodrio. So if he oversteps, then yeah, it will be pretty troublesome for Team Rice.
Yeah, I think in this game, they're not really going to be chasing after Dodrio, but maybe after somebody like the Mew, right? You want to pop that Mew, eliminate it from those fights, and that basically you've lost your ranged attacker on the side of Rise, and you just have to deal with all these physical attackers. I mean, Dodrio is technically ranged if he goes for Tri-Attack, and he has gone for Tri-Attack, so I guess that's the other Pokemon you have to worry about. But I think Mew might be the easier Pokemon to chase. Eeyore will be quite difficult, unless maybe you just hold him still with the Slowbro. Almost getting caught there, but luckily we'll be able to get out.
Yeah, they basically set a trap zone just for Eeyore. So
the bear traps, you know, make sure his foot gets stuck. I was like,
thankfully it's a bird, so it's like, nah, I'm not a bear.
I'm not a bear. So the Dodrio traps.
That might be though. I mean, like Snorlax. You can argue with me.
I don't want to argue.
Probably not.
Alrighty, so we're already into the 2-minute mark of the game, and so far not too much happening, but we will be seeing a bit of a scuffle here for the Swablu and the Altaria, but mostly going into the side of MYS. So no real contest on for Rise. Rise is focusing more on their side lanes because they're pretty happy, although Rebongs almost getting caught. And Dodrio's here. Oh my goodness, the Tri-Attack. Almost catching Rebongs, but luckily he just had the movement speed to get out of there.
There's just so much going on in the early game. Like, they're just trying to look for those peek-offs coming in from all these angles of the jungle. And this seems to be a very different ball game overall. XQ, just trying to get back in the wave. Eeyore.
Gotta be careful.
Yeah, he's just gonna go in, rinse, repeat. At least Necro's not too far away, so Team Rice just stabilizing, making sure that this Dodrio just amps up on this power leveling mode, and they're doing exactly the same for Yang.
Yeah, so Yang, as we saw last game, he plays a really big role for this team. He's the one that's dishing out the big damage, right? The big numbers. He's trying to pop these Pokemon. So as long as he's able to survive, then that's the issue you have as Rise. You need to jump into the back lines, eliminate the Delphox, and then that's really the one Pokemon that's going to be causing issues. And as you can see, Eeyore going to be trying to go into the back lines. He wants to catch out that Delphox. I don't think he's managed to get him, though. Aegis Slash, they're going off in the middle of the fight. And look at this, a quick dive, trying to jump onto that Delphox, but they weren't successful. Eluna getting a really nice disable there. And so far, 2 Pokemon are going to be down for MYS, 2 Pokemon down for Rise, and it looks like now they're going to be sent reeling. Yang going to be chasing, and this is the worst place to be if you are Rise. If you're Delphox, you you know you lost that fight.
Yeah, this is where things get a little bit more difficult now that the Team Rise have to really open up a little bit more space for themselves. Where is this Darkness going to run safely? I mean, that fight, I think like it's a little bit too much of how they've been able to handle it, but MYS, they basically layered it. Oh, got caught though.
Rebong's going to be renamed to Reborn. Unless he survives, he's just
got some berries.
Walk on the flux. Yep.
Nah.
Nah.
No chance.
It's okay. He gets a couple seconds to think about what happens next. Although we are seeing a rotation into the top lane here for MYS, so we are going to start seeing a scuffle there for the Reggie. Now Delphox is sitting in the bush getting caught out there. Oh no! They weren't able to get the connection there with the Machamp, and now Necro! He's going to get popped! Big mistakes there for Rise. They really needed to connect onto the Delphox, but Yang slipping on out of there. All those Pokemon gone on Rise. Now they can pop the goal and just take out that Reggie. But
Eeyore.
Look at that 1 point.
Well, he definitely appeared out of nowhere, and for Team MYS, like, they just basically came in with a huge whiff punish, and now still having that Regieleki, drawing more and more of that attention to Team Rise. At least now with the score of 122, is still very much doable for Team Rise on that final stretch, but it's not going to be anytime soon, though. Froggy, he's going to go for a catch! Necro caught out!
Oh no, Rise, they just wanted to deal with the Reggie, but with 2 Pokemon down, they even have to bring in Eeyore as well. You know when the Dodrio is fighting, the team is desperate. He's going to jump in. He's going to jump out. No! He actually gets taken out. He got caught. Now Rise, they're going to try and defend this goal, but is it going to come at a very heavy cost? MYS, have they overextended? They still have the Snorlax. He tried to go for the block. It wasn't the right way. He gets eliminated, and MYS, they just waltz on out of there. They got what they wanted.
Wow, it's just a whole lot of slams and dunks coming in from MYS. Now, I feel like they feel relatively comfortable at this current position, though they probably have learned that lesson that you have to still always be on your toes. And MYS, this is the reason why they're playing ultra aggressive for most part of the game. Eeyore unable to actually get anywhere close to these points because Froggy, he knows what's up. He likes to go towards the top side. He will stay throughout the post just to ensure no points are being scored.
Oh, they really want to catch out this Scyther, but they weren't able to get the connection. Oh, if they lose that Machamp, that's going to be such a mistake, and Eeyore goes down as well. Machamp and Dodrio eliminated. Another victory here for MYS. And it looks like they want to try and break that bottom goal, but they're going to hang tight. They're just going to say, it's fine. We'll continue farming up all of these areas of their Pokemon, deny all this experience to Rise, and we're not going to let them come back again in that final 2-minute stretch. We've seen what's happened in that last game. It's not going to happen again.
Yeah, and I think Team Rise definitely has a little bit more of a plan to actually go in for a contest, but they're running into a trap.
Oh, is it a trap, though? They've actually gone in with Rebongs here for MYS, and I think they may have gone a little bit too deep here. The Clefable goes down, and they do have Aegis Slash here. It's doing quite a lot so far for the team. Oh, it's still going to be alive, and now Eeyore, he's going to have to try and get out of this. They're being chased by Mew Foxy, but no, they won't be able to pick off that pesky bird. And there's the Mew. He's going to try and poke down this Aegis Slash. The Electrical Mist! It actually targeted a wild Pokemon. It actually got juked out by the bush there, and now Zoe, is he going to be punished? Oh, nope, gets the final hit. But the Regieleki did get taken, and now that's going to push that top lane. You've got 20 seconds to go for Rise. They've got to clear this up and get ready to take on that Rayquaza. This is the end game for this team. It's their comeback mechanic, and they better heal before they do it as well. You've got to make sure you're prepped, you're primed, you're ready to go, oiled up, 100% health.
Luna definitely has a whole lot of pressure hitting into this final battle. Same goes to the Machamp on Team Rise. So Eeyore, I think he's pretty much ready, but look who's there. The Cypher waiting by the edges. So this is where it's down to how much they actually go in for this read. Yemu.
Nobody sees anybody. They're all so scared.
Literally guarding him from actually getting any scores done. So,
yeah.
Mew Foxy.
But it's really tough for MYS because you've still got both tier 1 goals open. There's an opportunity for Rise to just get double points on this, right?
Exactly.
So you've got to be so careful about this Rayquaza.
The clock is ticking, though. I mean, like, Team Rise, they got to do it fast.
You got to go, right? And there we go. We did see a little bit there from Eeyore is now being chased by the Scyther, and the fight now begins in that middle lane. Froggy down to half his health, though. He's got to be so careful. He's still got the Unite move if he wants to use it. Night Mew Foxy going to be jumping straight onto that Mew, and we've got Yamu coming in from the top as well. Eeyore did get eliminated as well, so that Dodrio is not going to be back for 10 seconds. This is the opening, the grab. They actually managed to grab the Snorlax, and that might just be enough to take him out. He won't even be able to get the Heavy Slam off, so that's 2 Pokemon down. But Delphox got eliminated on MYS. That's the big damage dealer, and we still have Pokemon that are alive on the side of Rise. They're still going, but there we go. Froggy chasing that Mew. Is going to try and push him back, but look at this. Eeyore is back. We've got one Pokemon that gets popped. Yeah, they got the Scyther. Eeyore, you know how he is. He's going to be a pain in the backside Unites as well. He's trying to get this pick, but he doesn't want that last hit to go to MYS, and it looks like it is going to go in favor of MYS. They get the Rayquaza buff, which means they're going to get those points. Zoe is going to be able to score 100 in that bottom lane, but does it really matter? They need to prevent these points from going in, and Night Mew Foxy, he lost his buffs. They're not able to score down bottom, but middle lane, look at this. They've got it. 100 from the Slowbro, 100 from the Clefable, and I think that's going to be game. MYS get their points in and secure this game too.
Oh, this one was quite the nail biter as well. It really went into the favor of MYS. The moment that they've actually secured the entire section of Rayquaza, and all they have to wait is for Team Rise to fall directly into place. Great effort from Eeyore once again, but I think like everybody pulled their weight all together.
Everyone knew as well, right? They already saw the shenanigans from Eeyore last time, and I loved how they had both Yamu and Froggy camping those side lanes, waiting for him to score. They let him score a couple points to begin with, but they said, that's okay, you are done, we're going to clean you up. And then, of course, Yamu, after cleaning up Eeyore, goes down and was able to participate in that mid-fight against in the Rayquaza area. So great stuff for MYS. I loved the way that they approached this game.
Yeah, and with them being more calm and collected, things have worked out for the better. Though initially the game plan was exactly the same, just that it felt like they were a little bit more distracted. Oh, we shouldn't have started that Rayquaza if we did. I mean, like, yeah, it really went down to those couple of points, and it's just Eeyore things, you know. Now they finally found all the answers, and even Team Rise understand, like, hey, Eeyore can't always be the guy that scores his points. So everybody really chipped in this time around, and just needing to see, hitting the game tree, any more changes to be brought forward, because Team Rise, they look pretty all right when it comes down to the early game. But I think like after a couple of fights down onto the Reggie steals and stuff, like they start to fall off, and MYS just knew exactly what to do, especially with this Slowbro getting some really good catches.
Yeah, I mean, this was probably one of the biggest game changers for the team as well, having that AoE control from the Slowbro, and the fact that he's just so tanky as well. He's so difficult to eliminate, and just the amount of control that you have with that Slowbro, so difficult to deal with, unless, for example, Rise had somebody like the Delphox, right? Somebody to just pop the Slowbro. So we're going to take a look at the replays of this matchup before we get ourselves ready for game number 3 between MYS and Team Rise. Both of these teams able to take a game off of each other. So far for Rise, they've been putting a lot of their eggs into the Dodrio basket. Now, unfortunately, this is the bird that doesn't fly. So this is not always going to go in your favor. But I'm curious what kind of changes we might be seeing from Rise. I suspect Eeyore is just going to continue playing the Dodrio, but they do have to make some adjustments with the remainder of their lineup. I wasn't really a fan of the Machamp. I could see what they wanted to do, right? But they just weren't able to get the necessary catches with this Pokemon.
Yeah, I felt like it was a little bit lackluster in this matchup, where I felt perhaps if it were to be switched up with something different, then it will have a little bit more of that impact on teams that have gone for, you know, things like Tyranitar, but that requires an entire different comp altogether because they've already settled in for the Snorlax, the Mew.
I was thinking maybe something like a Serena, right? Like
Yeah, Serena probably will fit in perfectly.
Yeah, because I was looking at this Machamp and I'm thinking like with the way that they're playing it, they're really using it to just catch Pokemon. Serena, very mobile, you have a lot of sustain as well, and then you have a Unite move where you're essentially just going to catch somebody.
Target lock somebody.
Yeah, so if you're able to get the Unite off onto the Delphox, or heck, if you even wanted to use it on the Scyther as well, that's another viable Pokemon to catch out. They're squishies, they're more or less just going to get KO'd immediately after the animation ends. So maybe something like the Serena. I'm just thinking what else you really want to go for, because other than that, the lineup is pretty soft.
And I think like that's the main issue here. So heading into the upcoming match, these are just a few things to be addressed. I think that for 2 games in a row, a form of team fighting style coming in from Team Rise definitely needs a little bit more of better coordination. So it really boils down to clean-cut communication overall in order to pull that off. So, you know, one more game. We'll see whether if Team Rise or MYS will be the one with the 3 pointers.
It comes down to the one game. Now, for MYS, it would be great if this team is able to get the win here, because that's going to be 6 points for them on the board. But for Rise, they really want to leave a mark already. Now, luckily, they've already secured that 1 point, but a 3-pointer here would be amazing for Rise, especially up against a team such as MYS. So there's our first bans for the game, Sableye as well as Urshifu, and we get a Scyther or well, there's a Scyther ban on.
The Mew's open up for MYS, so
my brain's gone.
I think like they're definitely considering of securing this one along with the Slowbro as well. Pretty interesting a move. Rise now thinking whether or not will they settle for Snorlax. Eldegoss is still being hovered. Well, of course, we got the staple, Dario.
Yep. I really don't think you need to change Eeyore. I feel like Eeyore can absolutely stay on the Dodrio. But of course, MYS, you can see like they already respect this. So you've got the Slowbro. I mean, Mew's always going to be helpful, so no complaints there. And MYS are going to be the ones to maybe pick up the Machamp themselves.
And
right, let's go.
And they're happy to actually take that form of exchange as well. Now, they are thinking of bringing this Alolan Ninetales online. So I'm just thinking, can this be the answer to actually reach pesky backline such as Mew? So that has to also be dealt with. So Delphox
you needed a ranged
out.
attacker. Like that, I think that had to be said. And Alolan Ninetales is pretty good at it too. And if you can get a Pokemon frozen, that's going to be huge for somebody like Scyther or heck even Eeyore, right? You give that little opening for them to get that damage done. And if you freeze somebody such as Yang, that's it. KO, sayonara, see you next game. Oh wait, it's game 3.
Next game, see you in Malaysia instead. You know.
I mean, technically they're in Malaysia. Team MYS, they live here, so.
If both of them do qualify for the ACL finals,
it's just next door. It's fine.
That could be very much possible. So here we go, ready for a battle as we have the final game of the evening. Team Rise versus Team MYS.
Let's go.
Oh, let's go. So, I just love all these outlook of all the skins and like just look at Stelbro, so cute.
Now, my favorite has to be the Dodrio Hollower. The fact that he gets 3 different hats. He's got 3 different. I don't know what those things are called around his neck.
I saw like there
ties.
was like present boxes, right?
There are present boxes, but I just love the top hats. It's amazing. Cutest Hollowware ever. We have jumped into the game here, so let's see what happens. Can Rise secure this 2-1, or is it going to be MYS to happily end the day with that 2-1 score? Now, so far, lanes are looking pretty average across the board. We're not seeing any early aggression, although we are seeing Rebongs helping out in that central area, because look at this, Illuna, he's come in, he's going to try and annoy Yang, and if he gets KO'd here, this is not really what you want. When you invade the jungle, you just want to go in there, slow down the central area Pokemon's farm, and then you're happy. But to get KO'd, EXP, my man. You can't give that away.
And that's being given to a Delphox of all the other Pokemons, right? So Team MYS happy with what they're starting off with. Necro still opting to find any form of resources possible, and Eeyore, he's definitely hoping that he could still squeeze whatever it may be heading into the late game. Now that this is an entirely different type of comp, but Yemu getting caught now,
the
ejected in time.
Yep, eject button, such a good item, especially when you're getting jumped like that. But unfortunate for Rise, though. It would have been great if they could have gotten that pick up onto Yemu, and now they're going to turn onto that Scyther. Be careful, my friend.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Team Rise now just needing to actually slow things down for a little bit. But then again, like when it comes down to the Pokemon that they choose, there is a little bit more of that tempo. So I think like if there's any formal window, they got to do it before, you know, the Delphox is fully evolved.
Yeah, but then again, like you've got such a tiny window, right? So Delphox is fully evolved. Yemu gets taken down there with the Scyther, and Iluna's just going to be a pain here with Rebongs. He manages to get that quick little score. He won't get the Oran Berry, though. It gets picked up by Iluna, and that's a KO for Eeyore. So nice little chunk of experience there for the Dodrio. And Mew is out of there. He's like, yeah, nah, I'm leaving.
Yeah, just loving the way that Team Rise have been able to be a lot more proactive. Luna still survives, healed just in the nick of time.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. And now they're going to continue on with the chase here. They do get a big pot shot there onto the Eldegoss. Luckily going to be okay. Yemu, though, having to back off. No Pokemon dropping as of yet. Both teams showing a lot of respect to their opponents.
Yeah, it really boils down to small little calculated steps. So MYS now, sure, they may be a little bit behind for now, but there's still ample opportunities. Perhaps a big setup over on the Reggie will actually do wonders for the team. And Team Rise now having this Scyther on level 8 will probably hope to seek something out here. Oh, Froggy, he's caught out.
Uh-oh. Don't want to lose your Slowbro if you can afford it. Yeah, they will continue on with this very, very quick pressure here on the side of Arise, and they do quite a bit of damage there onto the team of MYS, but they do heal back up. They have Rebongs there to save the day, and now the fight for this Regirock is going to continue. Rebongs is there. They do get the Unite up there onto the Alolan Ninetales, and it looks like it gets taken there by MYS. They got the buff for themselves. That fight was for nothing on Arise, and now they will be losing that Alolan Ninetales, and they might also lose the Dodrio. Eeyore trying to get out of there. Run, Birdie, run!
Oh, really close call, I would say. And MYS, I think like they're also trading back. Team Rise did get the upper hand after a long commotion. Downbot Rebongs being forced back. Now it's not going to be able to hit. And finally, Rise. They are rising. Yes, they are. 161 points. And there's something in their hearts that have just been burning, and they're just showing it furiously here in less than 4 minutes.
Yeah, they are waving that Indonesian flag up high. They are making their region proud, but can they beat MYS, the champion of the Malaysian 2022 Open? Both of these teams are regional champions, so this is a sight to behold. And right now, Rise, they don't have their entire lineup yet here for the Regieleki. Are they just going to give this away? It almost looks like they will, because Eeyore's not there. The team is a little bit slow. They have the burst, solar beam, and that's just going to be enough. I guess Rise are just going to focus on defending, and they're saying, Eeyore, just score your points. Do your thing.
And now MYS, they're just basically piling up while this Dodrio goes unattended. This is basically the best dream ever for Team Rise, right? Like, just send this Snorlax to do all the work. And speaking of which, he's here.
Yeah, he's here. He managed to run right into 2 Pokemon, and they will be able to get the pushback there onto the Alolan Ninetales. But now MYS, have they gone a little bit too deep here? They do get the stun there off with the Snorlax, but they haven't been able to really catch anybody. And look at this Froggy right in the middle of the fray. Unfortunately, the Slowbro will be going down, but MYS, are they baiting? I don't think so.
It feels like there is a little bit more of a planning involved coming from MYS, where they are not really putting every single eggs in the basket.
They're all running Regice.
Oh.
This EXP can come in handy for either of these teams, but Delphox isn't here. He's going to be slow, and Rebongs, he gets taken out. Mew about to get taken out as well. Will be using his boosted attack. He will go down though to Necro, and look at this, the Scyther cutting through Yank as well. Oh my goodness, Rise, they are rising. Their power is going up, and there's nothing Froggy can do about it.
Yeah, and they're just basically getting every single score from all directions. The Alolan Ninetales on the top side scored another 28. So they take what they can get for the time being. It's still really close though. MYS, they're not out of the game just yet. Just needing to buy a little bit more space and more time just to stabilize. And this time, first, this Delphox need to really be in a better position. So
you're about to run right into Froggy there.
Dangerous.
We're at 3:35 here, so another minute and a half up until that Rayquaza spawns. Now, we do have this tier 1 goal still alive here on the side of Rise. Although MYS, they're just diving for it. They're going to just pick up this Scyther. Points being thrown down, and Rise are just going to abandon this. They say, it's fine, just take it. We don't want to lose any more Pokemon because they already knew if Eeyore gets caught, oh, he's fine. He's fine. He's fine.
Okay, he's fine.
Wait. Oh, not enough.
No, not just yet. But we saw...
They're still chasing.
At
They're
one
still
point,
chasing.
Oh, they finally got Eeyore.
Ooh, big
Okay,
pick.
at least there's still 1 minute left before Rayquaza. I mean, like, sure, they had that pickup. At one point, Rise, they tied the score, and now they are still just slightly ahead. MYS will be able to at least give them a little bit more pressure now that they do secure themselves that Regieleki.
Right, so Lecky going to be pushing in that top lane, and no pushes for MYS, so they're probably just going to position themselves, get ready for that Rayquaza. I just don't see them being able to take that Reggie in the bottom lane, but Rise might be able to if they can quickly do it. And Rebongs in that bottom lane, they're going to be spotting out Eeyore, so vision is there, they understand 20 seconds. I think that's enough time for Rise to quickly snipe this.
Yeah, well, there
It's a
is
Regirock.
just about enough. Now they do get a little bit more of that defense, much needed for the team fight. So Team Rise, they are just seeking out for these targets, while the Dodrio is being very much prepared. But there is a Mew on the way just to cancel this one out. So I'm not too sure if there's enough damage to burst him down.
I'm not quite sure either. 14, 14, 14 coming in there from Eeyore. Now Froggy, he's really far in front of his team and he doesn't really have too much healing there. Rebongs is doing his best to try and heal his buddy back up. AXQ though, still sitting in the bush waiting with the Eldegoss, being so cautious with his positioning, and Eeyore taking a big Mew boosted. Mew's boosted attacks, if they connect onto Dodrio, they are so lethal. It does so much damage to that Pokemon. But now we do have an aggressive push here for MYS right in front of Rayquaza, trying to make sure that Illuna doesn't get the initiation. A multi-man stun here could be what sets things up here for Rise. They only managed to connect onto Yemu so far, but look at this, Alolan Ninetales in the middle of the fight. And that looks like that might just be it. Rise losing 2 of their big damage dealers. It's going to be down to Dodrio, Eldegoss, and Snorlax, but no, the Snorlax is going to be going down. He uses his block. He's trying to slowly walk away. But I think this might just be it. MYS may have found this opening, now working on this Rayquaza.
Yeah, there's just 0 damage to be offered for Team Rise
Unless
right now.
Eldegoss can get the steal.
Can he actually do it though? I don't think so.
No.
Not at all. MYS, final stretch push, 40 seconds to go, and all the shields are up from the Rayquaza buff. So this is all well secured. That's 100 points in by the Slowbro. While there is desperate attempts coming in, 76, but this does not cut it.
No, it's not going to cut it. They need Eeyore to just rush on over there to the other side, but now that they've actually teleported back 2 of their Pokemon from MYS, I just don't see any sneaky points being snuck in. So I think the comeback is real here for MYS. They stuck to their guns, they made sure they were ready for this end game, and they won the fight that counts, the one at Rayquaza.
And these regional battles are just heated up with so much to offer. It started with a tie, and now the scores have been settled. MYS comes up on top with a massive comeback.
And Rise, they were so close from being able to take this series. It's just, sometimes there's fights that you can't afford to lose. And it's the one around Rayquaza that's probably the most critical team fight you'll ever encounter in Pokemon Unite. Lose that fight, and if you don't have anyone that can deny the opponents from picking up that Rayquaza, then the game is almost, I say almost, set in stone. There's always there's always going to be an exception.
Yeah, and I think like the first game itself is already a pretty huge exception, right? Like with Rise actually coming back with Igor scoring everything for the team. But I guess like some may say it was a miracle after all with him getting everything done. Game 2, not so lucky. And MYS, I think with so many of all these planning and layers, you saw that positional advantage for them, where Rise was also trying to draw close and look for a big wraparound around them. Even with the flank, it didn't really deter Team MYS because the Slobo was ready. Yemu could also hold another different angle. So it has definitely looked to have paid out very well for the Malaysian region.
Yeah, so congratulations to Team MYS for being able to pick up 3 points for their match today. This is going to rocket them up to the top of the leaderboard because that means they now have 6 points. And this is massive, especially playing in this league, as everyone is trying to gun for that first seed. And if you don't get first seed, at least try and aim for second so that it makes it a little bit easier when you go through that second phase. But as we can see on the screen here, so many points being scored, but remember, Contra, the most important ones are the ones at the end.
Yep, the ones all highlighted in goal, of course. So, MYS, it was quite the scuffle that they had right before, you know, like we saw Rise securing the Registeel. We thought, hey, maybe that extra defensive stats will actually let them last out in those team fights. But it was just solid game plan and positioning that has brought back this result for Team MYS. So another week, another few points garnered. So we'll definitely want to see where do they actually place, since they have played majority of these games. So before even going all the way forward, let's take a look back at some of the best plays in the match.
Yeah, so this game was pretty intense, actually. It looked like it was going to go in favor of Rise. There was a moment where this team just looked great. They were countering everything that MYS was throwing at them. But then all of a sudden, you know, the Rayquaza fight happens. I think this was really the big fight where Rise just looked like they were in such a commanding position. Because I think after this fight, they managed to push themselves up to like some 200-something points because Alola Ninetales wasn't even there. You know, AxeQ was up top. He was scoring points. His team was like, we got this, bro. You just score.
Yeah.
So they're just looking so commanding. But, you know, it's these fights. Alola Ninetales getting caught, getting picked up and thrown around as well by Rebongs. By Slowbro, and then that was basically it. You know, you've lost your 2 big damaging Pokemon, and eventually your Dodrio, and with just Eldegoss and Snorlax, I mean, what can you really do? That's your supporting cast.
That's where Team MYS felt that boost of confidence, like, yep, there's nothing stopping us for the next few moments of the stretch, so kudos to them. A great effort being put in by both sides, and I think like Team Rise, you know, they have shown signs of promise, and that those matches being their first few, I think that there's still a lot to work on, and at least still walking away with a point. Not too shabby.
Look, I'm not concerned about just this single point. I think Rise is a fantastic team. But speaking of fantastic, it looks like we're going to have a fantastic interview with Rebongs. So let's hear it from him. Firstly, as we bring him onto the screen here, congratulations on your victory, Rebongs, up against Team Rise. This was the champion from the Indonesia Open, and you look tired. Walk us through what happened in that series, because it was pretty insane after game 1.
Yeah, it was super intense. I think the whole like series, I was like somewhat shouting at my teammates, but it's not like I mean, so that they will actually listen, and it actually worked. Like, it wasn't like confusion like shouting everywhere, but yeah, I really had them. I really needed them to focus. Yeah, and we've been online for quite a long time, so yeah, it's quite tiring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I believe that if you guys manage to push all the way through, like, you guys can all gather up to, you know, get that ticket to Kuala Lumpur soon. But still, that's many weeks to go. So, what are your thoughts after facing Team Rise, and what have you identified that, were there still more things that your team needs to work on? You mentioned some shouting was involved. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess like at some point because there were like the Dodrio was actually dunking, then I actually had to get the team to come together again so that they don't get confused. So that was where like, you know, just shouting at them as in like, you know, just come here, like don't focus too much on him. If not, we're just gonna lose the Rayquaza. Yeah. So there's a lot of things to work on, but I think I'm very proud of them for pulling it off. Like even though it's like that a few seconds during the game. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Dodrio, we've started to see a lot of teams in Southeast Asia picking up this Pokemon, right? I think for the longest time, Dodrio was just sort of there. It wasn't a priority pick, but now we're starting to see a lot of focus on this Pokemon. Why is Dodrio turning into such an issue for Southeast Asia? Because it seems like some teams are starting to struggle with this Pokemon.
I guess apart from our play style, Dodrio is very flexible in terms of he can fight and he can also just go and dunk. So sometimes it might be very confusing for teams if you don't really know what to do. Like, should you flip Rayquaza or should you just hold it off? So I think that's one of the main problem with Dodrio. Yeah.
All right, Contra, anything you want to ask?
Well, of course, with some of the matches already being played, is there a certain matchup that you've been looking forward to? Any teams coming into some of these weeks? Could you name like a team or so?
Why do you have to ask me this every interview?
Well,
stop baiting me, man.
All right, I guess I'll let you through this time around. So, of course, that was a really tiring match for you. But what's your go-to thing to do just to calm yourself down, or like whether it's your team or alone? Like, what would that be?
I guess the most is in between matches, I will actually try to calm the team down, like calm the team down, and actually go through the plan again. Because during the game it's all about focusing. Like there's not much time for you to relax. So it's like at the start of the game, I will remind them to actually give your comms and just focus 100%.
Yeah.
Anything else, like if you don't want to listen to your teammate, if like suddenly you can't listen to them or you didn't do anything, then we'll discuss after the match. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much for the interview, Rebongs. Congratulations on your victory as well. I know you guys are super excited with all those points you're getting one step closer to that first seed, I see.
Yep.
All right, thank you so much.
Yep,
have a good night, have a good rest, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you guys too. Bye-bye.
All right, take care.
Man, they're so friendly. Rebongs is like such a chill guy, but then when you see him in game, it's like, can you imagine playing against him? You would be so stressed. You'd have like sweat going down your forehead. You'll be like super tight. You're like, oh.
Now, my question is, if you were to face him, would you face him on this Metal Sonic or Tyranitar? Like, either you get blasted or you just can't score a single point.
Neither. All right, let's take a look at the overall standings to see where our teams are today. Because, of course, with these points that have been allocated, we are going to be seeing some movement here. So as you can see on the screen, MYS with their 2 victories so far during the league stage, sitting pretty with 6 points. Second place, we have Renaissance. Now they are in second compared to Escape 5 because Renaissance has only played 1 game and it's also been a 2-0. Escape 5, they have won 1 series and they have lost 1 series, 2-0 both apiece. That is why they are in third place with 3 points. Now, in terms of fourth here, we have Rise because they are with a 2-1 score. And then finally, as you can see, we have Secret Rare with a 1-2 score. Now, I do believe these teams will technically be tied because 1 apiece.
That's right, and there's still so many more games to go. We'll definitely get you guys up to speed, or you can also do that yourself with, you know, the links that we'll be providing to you to keep up to speed to everything that's happening here in the Pokemon Unite Asia Champions League. So, of course, with that, once again, we'd like to remind you, not only could you check out all these details of the tournament, when you watch the tournament itself on Twitch, you will be rewarded because when you complete your registration on Stream Elements with the Twitch account, you can redeem lots of cool prizes.
Yeah, you can redeem a lot of exciting things. So for anyone that might be a little bit confused, if you're watching on Twitch, you can register with your Twitch account on Stream Elements and you'll earn points. You can also redeem these points for some really exciting goodies, as you can see in the bottom right hand corner. We've got keychains, we've got folders, we've got booster packs, we've got card tins as well. So make sure you've registered, you've signed up, and you're collecting those points. And as soon as you get enough to redeem what you want, redeem it, because we only have a limited quantity of all of these rewarded. So best of luck to all the trainers. Hopefully you get what you're looking for.
Yeah, and we'll definitely want you guys to join us yet again for another exciting day of Pokemon Unite Asia Champions League Southeast Asia. For tonight, though, well, this will be the very final game, but tomorrow that will be the India region that will be playing. So if you might be watching too many of it and you just want to read back what's the scoreline between Team A or Team B, you know what? You got all the details here on this website, 2023.pokemonunite-acl.com/en.
Yeah, so that's your Pokedex to the tournament. If you need any information at all, just head to that link. And make sure you bookmark it, okay? Don't forget, if you ever get confused, go to your bookmarks, find the little guidebook, Pokedex, whatever you want to call it, and you've got all the information right there. But to everyone that's watching the stream, thank you so much for joining us for week 2, day 2 of the ACL. Southeast Asia is going to conclude for this week, but of course tomorrow is going to be India, so make sure to come back for the Indian League. It's going to be just as exciting. But if you want some more Southeast Asia, next week on Saturday, oh wait, actually I think we're on break next week. It's a Chinese New Year?
Yeah,
I think it might be. We'll find out. We'll give you an update on socials if it does happen. But thank you for tuning into the stream. Contra, any final words before we close on out?
Well, of course, do take care, and we'll definitely want to see you guys on the next upcoming stream. Thank you as well, Natalie. And for now, we'll be bidding you good night.